Welcome to Whispers of History, the channel where forgotten tales of humanity are gently unwrapped, one soft sigh at a time. If you find yourself curled in bed or resting quietly on a long train ride, this slow drift into the past is for you. No rush, no drama, just the low hum of ancient lives and odd choices. Tonight's story may seem unbelievable, even surreal. The horrific reason why Victorian men sold their wives. And yes, you read that right, sold them, like livestock or a second-hand umbrella. But as we'll discover together, the truth isn't always so neatly black and white, and it's rarely comfortable. As a soft word of warning, you probably won't make it through this day. But that's sort of the point, isn't it? Sleepy minds wander best when they're wrapped in cobblestones, corsets, and terrible decisions. Before we begin, gently press like, if your fingers still have energy, and subscribe for more gentle historical detours. Drop your location and local time in the comments, if only to remind yourself you exist somewhere beyond the soot and smog. Now let's ease into tonight's journey. A stroll through damp alleyways, unfair laws, and one of the strangest domestic customs ever to haunt a marketplace. You wake to a soft gray drizzle on your cheek. The kind of London rain that doesn't fall so much as settle on everything: hat, boot, eyelash, dignity. The year is 1827 and you are, unfortunately, a man with a problem. A wife, to be precise. You don't hate her, of course. She cooks decently enough, keeps her teeth clean, and only once tried to smother you with a pillow during cholera season. But things aren't working. There's no such thing as divorce for commoners, unless you're unspeakably rich or happen to be best friends with the House of Lords. You are neither. So you do what any reasonably defeated man might do in this era of horse dung and handheld leeches. You walk her to market. And you sell her. Not in a dark alley. Not in secret. Not even with shame. No, wife selling in Victorian England is done in broad daylight, often with a cheerful crowd watching and the town crier announcing the deal. The man brings his wife on a rope or halter, sometimes through the town square, as if she were a dairy cow with opinions. You lead her now slowly down Cheapside. She's wearing her best shawl, ironically the one you bought her as an apology for forgetting her birthday. People watch. They always watch. A few nod. A few smirk. Someone spits, but not at you, just out of habit. The scholarly record is murky here. Historians still debate whether this ritual was legally binding or just a social spectacle, like a game of public charades where nobody really wins. But it happened. It happened often. One man once tried to sell his wife at an auction house, sandwiched between a sack of barley and a broken watch. Another added her cooking pot as a bonus. The woman, for her part, stood proudly with crossed arms. "He's not worth the stew," she muttered. You approach the post. A wooden block near the market's edge used for speeches and last-chance apologies. You step up. The rain pools in your left boot. Your wife adjusts her bonnet. "Any takers?" you call. "Now this isn't love, it's logistics." Behind you, a fishmonger yawns. A baker raises his eyebrow. And somewhere down the road, a woman laughs just a bit too loudly, clutching a basket of turnips and her own quiet regrets. The thing is, this wasn't rare. Wife selling happened hundreds of times, often recorded in local papers with price tags, names, and the occasional complaint about temperament. It was not legally sanctioned, but neither was it stopped. The legal system, rather like your marriage, preferred to look the other way. Now a butcher steps forward. Thick hands, onion breath, no ring. He squints at your wife like she's a side of mutton. Can she boil an egg without crying? He asks. Mostly, you answer. The crowd chuckles. Your wife glares. The deal, as usual, comes with beer, and if you're lucky, silence. You wake up again, still in the square, still raining. But now you've lost your wife and gained a pint of weak ale and the suspicion that your hat has shrunk slightly. She went off with the butcher, holding his hand, not yours. She didn't look back, why would she? You wander down the alley behind the tannery, where the air smells like wet dogs and bad decisions. This was your choice, remember. You weren't the only one, not by far. In fact, some women demanded it. Records tell of wives dragging their reluctant husbands to market, insisting on being sold. Some even negotiated their own buyers. One woman reportedly advertised herself in the town paper as available, strong of back, and tolerably patient with snoring. Not all sales were mockery, some were liberation. A public break from private misery. You walk past the bakery, where the cinnamon rolls are more forgiving than most mothers-in-law. The baker's wife gives you a knowing glance. She'd been sold 15 years ago. Now she runs the bakery and the marriage with equal efficiency. The Victorians were oddly practical about this. Marriage wasn't a Hallmark card, it was economics, duty, property, and the occasional burning casserole. Love, if it existed, was a pleasant byproduct like warm butter or surviving past 40. Curiously, some communities treated wife selling like a legally gray poor man's divorce. The halter was symbolic, the beer a witness. Some officials even looked the other way, preferring not to clog courts with the chaos of real affection. Historians aren't sure how many such sales occurred. Records were often burned, lost, or never made. But enough survived to draw a pattern. The lower classes found their own solutions when law and morality forgot them. You pass a boy playing marbles near a puddle. He pauses, looks up. Was she worth it? He asks. You don't answer, you just keep walking. And an obscure pamphlet from 1814 outlines the rules of proper wife selling. Rule 1, never sell a wife during church hours. Rule 2, always provide ale. Rule 3, if she resists, the sale is void. You think of her laugh, the one she used only in autumn. You think of your empty home and the wet boots sitting by the fire. You think of asking the butcher for visiting rights. Instead, you pull your coat, nod to the puddle boy, and disappear into the mist of cobblestone compromise. The Victorian London doesn't pause for heartbreak. It just keeps selling. As you walk away from the square, you wonder what the butcher will do with her. Will he treat her better than you did? Will he understand her strange need for quiet mornings? Will he perhaps make her feel something other than the pangs of unwanted companionship? No, you shake the thought away, your fingers tightening around your coat. Life moves on, doesn't it? The day draws on and the sky grows heavier with dark clouds, thick and suffocating. The faint whistle of a steam engine echoes somewhere in the distance, a sign that the Industrial Revolution is creeping into every corner of this grim, foggy city. Progress. A fancy word for the iron grip of change, isn't it? It's difficult to imagine that the birth of modern civilization is built on the shoulders of steam, coal, and sometimes broken marriages. You find yourself in a small now, tucked away from the streets where those who've been sold go to lick their wounds in private. You order a hot drink, something strong and bitter, and settle into a corner near the hearth. The fire crackles, but not as warmly as you wish. You're alone, but then you always have been, haven't you? The waiter brings your drink. You watch the steam rise and think of how in some small way you're still holding on to something, whatever that may be. Perhaps it's the illusion of stability, or maybe it's the faint hope that tomorrow will be different. The problem with hope is that it rarely takes you anywhere. You can hear snippets of conversations from nearby tables, the clinking of spoons, a couple laughing, a young woman recounting how she tried to sell her husband for a new set of silverware. A small chuckle escapes you. The absurdity of it all, how desperate some must have been, how they clung to every ounce of autonomy they could scrape together in this cage of a society. Some took the bitter route of sale for gain, others took it in silence, enduring the gnawing ache of life without choice. Still, you know that today was a unique transaction. In some places, people have to hide their decisions in darkness, but here in London, the market square was as public as it gets. And yet, there was a strange honesty to it. No shame, just transactions and expectations that hung thick in the air like smoke. Historians still debate the ethics of these sales, but one thing is certain. These moments, however grotesque, served as a means to an end. At least, for those who were desperate enough to turn their marriages into mere barter. You wonder if the butcher understands the weight of the exchange, or if he will simply take what's been handed to him and move on, much like you did with her heart. It's the undercurrent of survival that defines these strange rituals. When society fails to protect you, you're left with few options. One of those is to make a deal in the marketplace. Your dignity, they both have their price. You leave the eventually, reluctantly slipping back into the rain-drenched world. The cobbled streets seem to stretch endlessly before you, curving like a river that knows no end. London has always had a way of swallowing the weak, hasn't it? The rich live in their ivory towers while the poor drown in the muck of their own misfortune. As you step into the mud of the alleyway, your thoughts drift back to her. The woman who once was your wife, now someone else's burden. Is she happier now? Was it the right decision? Did you somehow free her, or have you only freed yourself from the drudgery of a marriage gone stale? As across the street, you spot a group of men laughing as they walk arm in arm down the alley. They're probably headed to the pub. The laughter rings hollow in your ears, drunk on pride, perhaps. They are the kind who never have to make decisions like yours. They never need to consider whether to part with their wives in a moment of desperation. They have power, you do not. You envy them, though you wouldn't admit it to anyone, not even to yourself. The sun starts to set now, and the lamps flicker on with that strange, soft yellow glow that seems to only exist in Victorian London. A tired world, you think, worn down by its own mechanisms of survival. The reality is too stark, too harsh. You think of the court system, the layers of red tape, and how it all boils down to this: an exchange of goods, even if those goods are living, breathing human beings. You begin to wonder whether this is the price of being alive in a world where you are only worth what you can produce. Your thoughts wander, and the cobblestones beneath your feet blur into something darker. Was this the world she had lived in, where a woman's worth was never her own? Where her existence was a series of transactions, each one more degrading than the last? Or was this simply the nature of men, a sign of their deep-seated need for control? It was easier to think of her as an object to be discarded than a partner to be understood. You pause at the corner, resting your hand on the cold stone of the wall. The heavy rain has slowed, and the air smells of earth and wet stone. Just a block away lies the tavern where you'll find solace in a pint, where you'll tell yourself that it was the right thing. You'll sit at a table with other men who made similar choices, and you'll laugh about it. You'll tell stories of how you sold your wife, just as they've sold their freedom to the grind of this city. But as you turn the corner, something else catches your eye. It's the butcher. He's standing in the doorway of his shop, holding a bundle of flowers, staring blankly at the street. And there next to him is your wife. She is smiling, her arms around him, her head tilted slightly in a way that seems almost too peaceful. You're not sure whether to approach, whether to confront her, or whether to simply disappear into the fog. You decide on none of those things. You take a deep breath, feeling the weight of your decisions settle on your chest like a heavy cloak. You'll leave them to their new life. You'll walk away. In the end, what choice is there? The flickering light of the tavern calls to you. You head toward it. You enter the tavern, the familiar warmth seeping into your bones as the door creaks shut behind you. The low murmur of voices and the clink of tankards fills the room, a world away from the damp streets outside. The fire crackles in the hearth, the flames dancing in a rhythm as ancient as the city itself. You feel the tension in your shoulders ease, if only for a moment. For a brief, fleeting second, it feels as though you can pretend that nothing is wrong. That this small, noisy world of ale and laughter is your true home. You approach the bar, and the barkeep gives you a nod. "The usual?" he asks, already reaching for the tankard. "Aye," you reply, your voice rougher than you expect. Your fingers grip the edge of the counter, the wood worn smooth by years of use. The bartender places the pint in front of you, and you lift it slowly, watching the amber liquid swirl in the glass. You could lose yourself in that swirl, just as you've lost yourself in this city more times than you care to count. There's a part of you that wants to think of the butcher's shop, the look in your wife's eyes as she walked away. It stirs something deep within you, but you squelch it down. It's easier this way. She's gone, and now it's time for you to pick up the pieces of your own life. It's time to move on. You sit at a table in the corner, staring into the fire, But the warmth of the drink does little to banish the chill that's settled in your chest. You've had a lifetime of this, moments when everything feels impossibly heavy, when the weight of your decisions presses against you like a stone you can't roll uphill. Somewhere in the back of the tavern, a group of men laughs too loudly. You overhear a snippet of conversation, the words sticking in your mind like a half-remembered dream. "She's gone now just like that, off with the butcher. That's the way things are." Your fingers tighten around the handle of your glass and you feel a strange, bitter smile tug at your lips. They think it's nothing, don't they? Just another tale for the pub. They don't understand the truth of it, the empty space that gnaws at the core of your being. You glance at the door, half expecting to see her walk through it, but of course she doesn't. She's with him now, tucked away in his little world. Perhaps she's already forgotten you. Perhaps she's better off for it. You wonder if she'll ever think of you again. Will she, or will she be lost to you just as you're already lost to her? A familiar figure enters the tavern, one of the regulars, a man whose name you can't quite recall. He's thin and weathered, with a permanent squint in his eyes as though he's seen more of life than he cares to admit. He spots you in the corner and after a moment's hesitation makes his way over. He's the kind of man who knows how to fill silences, but tonight his usual jolly demeanor is absent. Instead, he sits down across from you and lines in, his voice low. "Another one gone, eh?" he asks, his tone strangely neutral. You glance at him, not sure how to respond. It's easier to drink than to answer. You nod, taking another long gulp of your ale, the bitter taste lingering in your mouths. "You'll get over it," he says, his voice soft, almost as if he's comforting himself as much as you. "We all do." You don't respond. What's there to say? You're not sure if he's speaking to you or to himself. Either way, the words fall flat and the silence stretches between you like a wide chasm. "I sold her once," he continues, breaking the silence, his voice quieter now, almost a whisper. "My own wife. Didn't think I had much of a choice at the time. There's a kind of freedom in it, you know." You look at him, but the words don't quite register. Freedom? There's no freedom in selling someone you once promised to love. You want to laugh at the absurdity of it all, but you just sit there, feeling the weight of it all settle over you once more. "Not everyone sees it that way," you murmur, your voice barely above a whisper. He doesn't respond. Instead, he stares into his own glass as though lost in a memory of a time when his own decisions seemed right. You wonder how many others like him are scattered throughout this city. Men who sold their wives, men who tried to make a clean break and never quite managed it. The thought lingers, and for a moment you wonder if this strange, painful ritual isn't just a symptom of a world that doesn't know how to treat its people. Perhaps it's not just men who make these choices. Perhaps it's a society that has forgotten how to value its own, how to see the humanity in each other. You take another long sip from your glass, the weight of the alcohol heavy on your tongue. You feel a little dizzy now, but not in the way that you expected. There's something more insidious about it. The dizziness isn't just from the drink. It's from the thought of your life unraveling, of having made choices that can never be unmade. It's from knowing that in this city, in this world, people are commodities and love is just another transaction. And yet you feel no anger, no rage, just resignations. It's outside, the rain has stopped. The fog, thick and silent, still lingers. It wraps itself around the street like a blanket, hiding everything just out of view. For a moment, you wonder what's beyond the fog. What could be waiting for you there? Perhaps it's another town, another life. Or perhaps it's simply more of the same. But tonight, for once, you don't care. Tonight, you're content to sit here in this small, warm corner of the tavern and let the world pass by without you. Somewhere deep inside, you feel a slight shift, as though the world itself is turning slowly but surely. The hours slip by unnoticed. The flickering firelight begins to feel like a heartbeat pulsing softly in the room. You find yourself no longer quite sure if the clink of tankards and the mutter of distant voices are real or simply the hum of your own thoughts. The tavern feels like it could go on forever, as if the outside world, the world you've been trying to escape, has no place in here. You could stay like this forever, drowning in your drink, letting the world fade into a distant, unimportant blur. But then, like an unwelcome echo, the image of her floats back into your mind, her face. The way she'd looked at you when she left. That expression so full of resignation mixed with something else, something softer. There was no rage in her eyes, only a calm acceptance, as if she knew this moment had been coming all along. You wonder if you had been blind to it all along. The bartender comes by again, offering a refill, but you wave him off. You've had enough of the drink. It's no longer the warmth you sought, but a numbing agent, dulling your thoughts, pushing them into a place you don't want to visit. Instead, you decide it's time to leave. You stand, your legs unsteady, and for a brief second you wonder if this is what a man feels like when he's been sold. Not physically, but mentally, emotionally. You've spent your entire life thinking you had control, that the choices you made were yours and yours alone. But now, as you step into the cold night air, you realize you're just another soul lost in the shuffle of life. You don't feel free, you feel hollow. The streets are quieter now, the night pressing down with its cool, wet fingers. The fog swirls in gentle tendrils, shifting with the breeze as if it's alive, chasing you down the alleyways, pushing you further into the unknown. The buildings loom overhead, their brick facades tired and weathered. In the distance, the faint glow of gaslights flickers. It's an odd, muted beauty, this city at night. But it's not enough to soothe the ache that has begun to spread through your chest. You can hear the occasional horse-drawn carriage, their wheels slicing through the wet cobblestones. The clip-clop of hooves is the only sound that seems to cut through the fog, a rhythmic reminder that life still moves forward whether you're ready for it or not. The world continues its march, indifferent to your choices, indifferent to her absence. You pause at a corner, looking down a narrow street. The silence is thick now, almost oppressive. It's as if everything in this city knows your secret, even though you've kept it buried inside for so long. Your decision, her decision, the sale, it all feels like a weight you can't shed. You try to shake it off, but the thoughts cling to you, sticky and persistent, like the dampness in the air. A distant scream shatters the stillness. It's brief, faint, but enough to make you pause. For a moment, you wonder if it's her, if something has happened to her. The thought sits heavily on your chest, a knot of fear that rises in your throat. But then the moment passes, as all moments do. You push the thought away. She's gone, she's moved on. What could possibly be left for you to cling to? You take another step into the fog, your steps slow and deliberate, each one dragging you further away from the woman you once called your own. You know this is the path you chose, the one that led to an empty house, to a life without her. But it doesn't make the journey any easier. You walk past the bakery, the same one where you'd seen her smile once years ago. The windows are dark now, the scent of fresh bread a distant memory. You can't remember the last time you'd shared a meal together, the last time you'd laughed at a joke that didn't feel forced. It seems like another lifetime, one that exists in some distant, faded photograph you've forgotten to look at. You reach the end of the street, standing at the edge of a small park. The trees are skeletal in the moonlight, their bare branches stretching into the night sky like the twisted fingers of forgotten ghosts. The park feels abandoned, much like you. A bench sits at the edge, its wood damp from the rain, its iron legs cold to the touch. You sit, the weight of the world settling onto your shoulders once more. You stare up at the sky, trying to find something in it, some sign that this was the right thing, that you had made the correct decision. But the sky offers nothing. It's just a blanket of gray, the stars hidden beneath a veil of clouds. You want to sleep, to forget, but the thoughts keep coming. Was it really better this way? Was it better for her to leave? Was it better for you to let go? Or was there something more, something deeper, that you both missed in the rush of living? As a cold breeze sweeps through the park, tugging at the collar of your coat, and you pull it around your neck. The chill feels good, almost comforting. It's the kind of cold that forces you to confront the world as it is, without the distractions of warmth or comfort. You breathe in the damp air, the scent of earth and rain, and for a moment you feel something stir inside you, a strange sense of clarity. Maybe, just maybe, this is what freedom feels like. Not in the absence of a wife, not in the decision to let go, but in the acceptance of the path you've walked. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been right, but it's yours. You stand, the decision made for you. There's nothing left for you in this city. No more second chances, no more false hopes. It's time to leave. To disappear into the fog, to walk away from everything you thought you knew. And so, with one final glance at the park, you turn and begin your walk down the darkened street. The city hums around you, its pulse steady and unyielding. And you're just another soul in the fog, searching for something you can never quite name. You walk and you don't look back. While the city waits. The streets blur as you walk deeper into the night. The fog clings to you, wrapping itself around your limbs like a shroud. The distant gaslights flicker, casting ghostly shadows on the wet cobblestones, each one a silent observer to the lives that pass beneath them. It feels as though the world has become smaller, distant, like a forgotten dream that you can no longer reach. Everything feels muted, as though the edges of reality are being softened by the damp air, and you, a lone figure, are being swallowed by it all. You pass the familiar landmarks, the same ones that once anchored you in this city. The butcher's shop, the bakery, The tavern, the alleyway where you once walked hand in hand with her, thinking that life was a series of simple, predictable steps. But now all of it seems so distant, so foreign. Though the city hasn't changed, but you have. Your footsteps echo as you walk through the streets, each one a reminder that you're alone, but it's a different kind of loneliness now. The ache that once felt like an open wound is slowly turning numb. You've been wandering for hours, not really sure where you're going or what you're searching for. All you know is that you can't go back. You can't return to that life, to the woman who was once yours. The door has closed, and this time it's locked. You think of her again, of the quiet resolve in her eyes when she walked away. It stings, but it's a dull pain now, like the fading throb of a bruise. You wonder if she's sleeping soundly in the butcher's bed, if she's found a piece you couldn't give her. You wonder if she's ever thought of you, or if you've already become a shadow in her past. The thought makes your chest tighten, but there's nothing you can do. She's gone. And in a way, so are you. You turn down another narrow street, one you've walked countless times before. The houses on either side loom like silent sentinels, their windows dark, their doors closed to the world. You notice that the street is quieter now, empty. Most people have long since retreated into their homes, leaving the city to the few lost souls who wander it after dark. And then there it is, the small shop at the corner, the one that had caught your attention on your very first day in this city. The one you've never dared to enter. The sign above it reads, "Curiosities and Wonders." It's not much of a shop, really, just a narrow little place with windows cluttered with oddities and trinkets, the kind of place that seems to exist out of time. You stand in front of it for a long moment, staring at the cluttered display in the window. There's something strangely familiar about it, something that pulls at you from deep within. A curiosity, yes, but also an unease. It feels like a place where lost things go, forgotten items that have no place in the world. You feel the pull stronger now than ever before. Without really thinking about it, you step forward and push open the door. The bell above the door jingles softly, its sound like a whisper in the stillness of the night. The shop is dimly lit, the air thick with the smell of incense and old books. There's a faint hum of energy in the space, as if the room itself is alive with secrets. The shopkeeper, an elderly man with a long silver beard, looks up from behind the counter. His eyes are sharp, glimmering with some hidden knowledge, but there's a strange warmth to him. He doesn't speak at first, merely nodding in acknowledgement of your presence. There's no surprise in his gaze, just a quiet, knowing look as if he's been expecting you. You walk further into the shop, your steps muffled by the worn carpet beneath your feet. The shelves are crammed with strange objects, tiny clocks, cracked mirrors, faded paintings. Some things look like relics of a time long past, while others seem far too modern to belong in a shop like this. A clock ticks steadily in the corner, its hands moving in reverse, and you can't help but stare at it for a moment. The concept of time feels so foreign to you now. You're not sure if you're trying to outrun it, or if you've simply lost track of it entirely. The shopkeeper finally speaks, his voice low and gravelly. "Looking for something specific?" he asks, his words heavy with unspoken meaning. You shake your head, unsure of what you're looking for or even why you came in. You wander the aisles of the shop, your fingers brushing against the objects, each one a relic of some forgotten era. You stop in front of a shelf filled with small, intricately carved wooden boxes. Each one seems to tell a story of its own, though you can't make sense of any of them. And then you notice a small box tucked away in the back. It's different from the others, smaller, more delicate. You reach for it, and as your fingers touch its surface, a strange chill runs through you. It's the same feeling you had earlier when you thought of her. The strange, lingering sensation that there are things in this world that you can't control, things that slip through your fingers no matter how hard you try to hold on. You wonder if the box is a sign, if it's somehow connected to your fate, to the choices you've made. You turn it over in your hands, and as you do, the shopkeeper's voice cuts through the silence again. "And everything here has a story," he says softly. "But not all stories are meant to be told." You pause, the weight of his words sinking in. You look at him, meeting his gaze. There's something in his eyes, something ancient and wise, that makes you feel both small and vast at the same time. You glance back at the box in your hands, unsure of what to do. Part of you wants to put it back, leave this strange place, and go on with your life. But another part of you, something deeper, something darker, feels a strange pull toward it. The decision feels heavier than it should. You feel the weight of the box in your hands, as though it's holding more than just wood and carvings. And suddenly, you realize that you've made a choice. The box is no longer just an object, it's a symbol. It's a representation of everything you've tried to bury, everything you've tried to forget. Though the shopkeeper watches you closely, his eyes never leaving your face. You finally make up your mind and hand the box to him. "I'll take it," you say, your voice steadier than you expect. He nods, a faint smile playing at the corners of his lips. "I thought you might." The bell above the door jingles once more as you step back into the night, the weight of the box now nestled in your coat pocket. You step into the fog once more, but this time something is different. You don't know where you're going, but for the first time in a long while, you feel like you're finally moving forward. The city waits. The fog, thick and oppressive, wraps itself around you as you leave the shop. The night seems colder now, the air biting at your skin with a sharpness that wasn't there before. You pull your coat, but the chill doesn't seem to subside. Your steps are slower now, more deliberate. There's something different about carrying that box, something that feels far heavier than its small, intricate form would suggest. As you walk through the misty streets, the weight of it presses against you like a memory you can't escape. The night air has grown still, the usual sounds of the city muffled by the fog, as if the world is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. For a brief moment, you wonder if you've made a mistake. Why would you even want to take that box with you? What could it possibly mean in a world where everything seems so much like a cruel game of chance? Your thoughts shift back to the moment you had in the shop, the shopkeeper's cryptic words lingering in your mind. Not all stories are meant to be told. What could he have meant by that? Was the box just an object, or was it something far more significant, something that had been waiting for you, just as the shopkeeper had seemed to know you were coming? You find yourself walking aimlessly, as if your feet are leading you somewhere unknown, somewhere the fog can't hide. The world around you seems to blur into the shadows of memory, the distant sound of church bells ringing in the distance, marking the passage of time in a place that feels suspended, detached from the reality you once knew. You walk past the familiar streets, but they feel strange now, empty, as though the city has turned into a vast, hollow shell. The box in your pocket feels as though it's alive. There's a subtle hum to it, a vibration that you can't quite explain. Every now and then you catch yourself reaching into your coat, your fingers brushing against its surface, as if drawn by some unseen force. As you approach an intersection, you spot a figure standing in the shadows at the edge of the street. You stop for a moment, instinctively slowing your steps. The figure doesn't move, but there's something about them, something unsettling in the way they seem to blend into the night, like they've always been there waiting. You glance down the street, thinking of turning the corner, but the figure catches your eye again. They seem to be watching you. And for a brief second, you wonder if they're waiting for you to do something, say something, anything. It feels like the weight of your decisions is catching up to you. That strange pull you felt earlier in the shop, it's back. You swallow hard, your breath catching in your throat. And then, just as you think you might take a step forward, the figure shifts. Their face becomes visible, the faintest sliver of light revealing the outline of a weathered, worn face. They smile, a slow, unsettling curve of the lips that sends a shiver down your spine. For a long moment, you do nothing but stare. There's a sense of recognition in the stranger's eyes, something familiar, but you can't place it. Then they speak, their voice low and calm, like a whisper carried on the wind. "Oh, you shouldn't be carrying that." You freeze. It's not a question, it's a statement. And somehow you know that they're not talking about the box in your pocket. You feel a sudden, overwhelming compulsion to look down at it, as though the object in your possession has grown into something much larger, much darker than you originally thought. "Why?" you ask, your voice barely audible over the hum of your thoughts. The figure doesn't answer immediately. Instead, they take a slow step forward, and for the first time you notice that they are holding something small in their hands, wrapped in a piece of tattered cloth. The cloth glints faintly in the moonlight, and you recognize the shape almost immediately. It's a box, identical to the one you're carrying. You feel your breath catch in your throat. How can that be? You look from your own box to the one in the stranger's hands. "There are more of us," the figure says, and this time their voice is tinged with something like sadness. "Those who have found them, and those who have been lost to them." You take a step back, the unease in your chest growing. "What do you mean?" you ask, but your voice cracks slightly. The figure lifts the cloth slowly, revealing the box. It's aged, the wood darkened with time, the carvings worn smooth, but the symbols etched into its surface, those are unmistakable. The same strange symbols that you noticed on your own box. You've taken something that doesn't belong to you, the figure continues, their voice distant, almost sorrowful. And now you must deal with it. But the box, it doesn't just hold things, it holds memories. It holds desires. And it can take more than just your freedom. The words are cryptic, like a riddle you're not sure you're meant to solve. But deep inside you feel the weight of them as though something has shifted. Something inside you stirs and you realize that you've been running not from the city, not from her, but from yourself. The stranger steps closer and their hand reaches toward you. You want to pull back, but you can't. Their touch is gentle but firm, and when they speak again, their voice is filled with an ancient wisdom. Be careful what you wish for. Some stories are never meant to end. Before you can respond, before you can even understand what they mean, the figure slips back into the fog, vanishing as quickly as they appeared. You stand in the quiet street, the weight of the box now more pronounced than ever before. The fog seems to close in around you, the world feeling even more distant, more dreamlike. You glance down at the box in your hand, the mysterious carvings now glowing faintly in the moonlight. The city hums with a life of its own, and you realize that the world is far more complicated than you've ever understood. You thought you had control over your choices, over the path you were walking, but now it feels as though something much larger, much older, has been watching you all along. You take a deep breath, the fog swirling around you like an old memory, and you know, without a doubt, that you've reached the point of no return. You turn back toward the street, the fog now lifting just enough to allow the faint glow of a distant lantern to catch your eye. The path ahead is unclear, but you know it will lead you to whatever fate awaits. Whatever lies ahead, it's no longer just about the box. It's about you. And there's no going back. The fog begins to thin ever so slightly, as though the city itself is giving you a little breathing room, if only for a moment. You stand still for a while, letting the strange weight of the box settle in your hands. It feels as though it has a life of its own, a pulse that matches your own. The symbols etched into the wood glow faintly under the dim streetlight, and you can't help but wonder if this is the start of something you can't undo. Your feet begin to move before you consciously decide to. It's as though your body knows something that your mind hasn't caught up to yet. The path ahead is dark, lined with the shadows of buildings that feel too large, too menacing in their silence. You walk, your pace slow but purposeful as the world shifts around you. The streets are quieter now, the usual hum of life in London nowhere to be heard. It's like you've entered another realm, a place where time is measured differently, a place where the boundaries between the living and the forgotten are thin and fragile. With each step, the quiet grows louder and the weight of the box presses harder into your chest. You feel its presence in a way that's almost physical, its coolness against your skin, its weight a reminder of something ancient, something old and forgotten that has begun to stir. And then a sound breaks the silence. A faint scraping noise barely perceptible over the steady rhythm of your own heartbeat. You stop, eyes scanning the street, but there's no one there. The fog swirls lazily, almost lazily, across the cobblestones. Still, the sound persists, a soft scraping like something being dragged against the ground. Your pulse quickens, and for a moment you wonder if it's your mind playing tricks on you. Maybe it's just the weight of the box getting to you, making you hear things that aren't there. But then the noise comes again, louder this time, and you realize it's coming from somewhere behind you. You turn sharply, the box still clutched tightly in your hand, your heart racing in your chest. The street behind you is empty, no one in sight. But you can't shake the feeling that something is watching you, that you're not alone. You take a cautious step backward, your senses on edge, but the sound stops, just like that, silent again. But your instincts scream at you to keep moving. You don't want to be caught standing in one place for too long, not with the strange energy that seems to have settled into the air. So you walk on. Slowly at first, but then, as though some invisible hand is urging you forward, you find yourself moving faster. Your mind races, caught between the desire to leave this strange place behind and the nagging pull of the box. Though the scraping sound comes again, but now it's closer, louder, as if something or someone is right behind you. You turn again, but there's nothing. The fog thickens and the world seems to close in on you. The buildings around you grow taller, their shadows stretching like fingers reaching out to grab you. Your breathing quickens as you realize that something is wrong. The world feels different, warped. As though the lines between reality and something darker are starting to blur. You glance down at the box once more, the symbols now pulsating with an eerie light. Your hands tremble as you hold it, as if it's alive, as if it's breathing. You realize then that the box is not just a thing, it's a doorway. A threshold between worlds, and you've crossed it. The sound behind you is louder now, clearer. It's unmistakable, scraping, dragging, something heavy moving along the cobblestones. You don't dare turn around. You just keep walking, pushing yourself faster, as though the faster you move, the less likely it is that whatever is behind you will catch up. But the sounds follow you, relentless, echoing through the empty streets. You glance over your shoulder once more, and this time you see something in the fog, just a shadow, a movement too quick to catch. Then you hear a voice, low, whispering, unintelligible at first, but then it becomes clearer, as if it's speaking directly into your mind. You can't run from what you've chosen. The box is yours, now you must bear its weight. The voice feels like it's coming from everywhere and nowhere, a presence that wraps around you, suffocating you. You stumble, the weight of the box pulling you down, and for the first time you begin to feel truly afraid. The fog thickens, and the shadows grow longer, stretching toward you like hungry hands. The night seems to close in around you, and you realize that there is nowhere to hide. No escape. The box, that cursed thing, pulls at your soul like a thread being wound, and you're no longer sure if you're walking in the streets of London or if you've crossed over into something else entirely. The boundaries between the two worlds have faded, and you are now a traveler in an in-between place. A place where decisions made long ago are catching up with you. The scraping sound is louder now, and this time it's not in the distance. It's right behind you, too close for comfort. You can feel the presence, that oppressive weight, pressing against your back, and you know deep down you can't keep running. While you take a deep breath and turn around. Standing before you, emerging from the fog, is the figure from earlier. The one who warned you, the one who knows the truth. Their face is now clearer in the moonlight, but there's something wrong about it, something inhuman. Their eyes glow faintly, the color shifting like a liquid. They step closer, their movements smooth, fluid, as though they don't belong to this world at all. The box in your hand thrums with energy. The symbols on its surface are now glowing brighter, pulsing with a rhythmic, hypnotic beat. You want to throw it away, to drop it and run, but you can't. It has become part of you, an extension of your very being. You cannot escape it. The figure speaks again, their voice soft but cold, as though they're imparting some final, unchangeable truths. This is where the stories end, but the weight never leaves. You've taken the path of no return, and now you will bear its cost. The box chooses, and the chosen cannot escape. You open your mouth to speak, to beg, to plead, but no words come. The fog thickens once again, and the figure slowly steps back into the shadows, leaving you alone in the middle of the empty street, the weight of the box heavier than ever before. Though the world holds its breath, and you, with no place left to go, simply stand there, feeling the unseen eyes of the city watching you, waiting. Though the journey, it seems, has only just begun. The figure disappears into the fog as silently as it arrived, leaving you standing in the thickening mist, breath shallow and quick, heart pounding like a drum in your chest. The street is deserted now, silent. The only sound is the soft, almost imperceptible hum that seems to emanate from the box in your hands. The symbols on its surface glow faintly, pulsing in rhythm with your own breath. You stand there for what feels like an eternity, your eyes fixed on the spot where the figure once stood, unsure whether you should move forward or stay frozen in place. The figure's words echo in your mind, repeating themselves over and over like a mantra. The chosen cannot escape. You force yourself to look away from the empty street, your hands shaking as you clutch the box, the weight of it pressing against your palm. You feel like you're carrying something far more than just a small, intricate object. It feels like a burden, a curse. Something that has latched onto you, rooting itself deep in your soul. The wind picks up suddenly, rustling the leaves of the few trees that line the street, their branches creaking in the night. It's a cold wind, one that carries with it an unsettling sense of foreboding. You want to run. You want to get away from the fog, from the box, from the weight of everything that's pressing down on you. But your legs feel like they've been rooted to the ground. With a heavy sigh, you force yourself to start walking again, the sound of your footsteps muffled by the thick fog. The path ahead is still obscured, the streetlights flickering as if fighting against the dark embrace of the night. As you walk, you feel a strange sense of being pulled forward, compelled by something beyond your control. Your mind races, desperately searching for a way to make sense of what's happening to you. You think of her again, the woman you sold. The one who had walked away from you so easily, so decisively. What did she feel when she left? Did she look back at all, or was she relieved to be free of you? You'll never know. And perhaps it doesn't matter anymore. What matters now is that you can't escape the path you're on. As every corner you turn seems to lead you deeper into the fog, deeper into this strange, in-between world that you can't seem to leave. It's like walking through a dream, a nightmare really, where the rules don't make sense and the walls are closing in. The city around you is familiar yet completely foreign. The streets are empty, but you know you're not alone. The silence is thick, suffocating, and yet the hum of the box fills your ears, louder now as if it's calling you. You pause at a crossroads, looking down each path. None of them lead anywhere you recognize. The fog wraps around each corner, turning them into empty, uninviting stretches of nothingness. The weight of the box grows heavier with each passing second, and you know deep down that you can't keep walking in circles. You have to make a choice. And that's when you hear it again, the faint sound of scraping followed by a soft, distant whisper. It's coming from the street behind you just out of sight, but this time it's not just an echo. It's closer. The voice is unmistakable now, clear and sharp like a command. You can't outrun what's coming for you. Your pulse spikes again and the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. The voice is not your own. It's not even human. It's like something ancient, something that has been waiting for you, watching you. You turn, your breath catching in your throat. There's nothing in the fog, nothing in the street behind you. Just the empty path stretching into the distance, the soft flicker of the gaslights barely illuminating the dark. And yet, you know something is there. You can feel it. You can feel the weight of its gaze on you, even if you can't see it. As the air around you grows colder, the temperature dropping rapidly. The fog thickens, swirling around your feet like tendrils, and for a moment you can't see anything at all. The world feels as though it's closing in, and you feel the pressure of something oppressive growing, tightening around you. You can't breathe, you can't think. The box in your hands feels like a lead weight pulling you down. And then you hear it, a voice, but this time it's clear. A laugh, low, hollow, eerie. You think you can walk away from this. You think you can outrun it. You can't escape what's inside you now. It's a part of you. Your breath hitches as you realize the truth. The box, the symbol, the path you've been walking, it's all connected. The figure, the laughter, the weight of it all, they're all tied together. There's no escaping it. There's no going back. The laugh echoes in your mind, repeating over and over. It's yours, you chose it, now you will pay the price. As the fog begins to swirl more violently now, spinning in spirals around you, pulling at your coat, at your body. The air is thick with a heavy, oppressive energy, and you feel as if the very fabric of reality is stretching, warping. The world around you begins to disintegrate, fading into shadows, and you realize too late that you're no longer on the streets of London. You've crossed over. The fog clears for just a moment, and you find yourself standing in a strange, unfamiliar place. The air is thick, the ground beneath your feet rough and uneven like stone. The buildings around you are tall, but they're ancient, decaying, twisted, as though they've stood for centuries, waiting for someone to find them. The streets are barren, but in the distance you see figures moving. Silhouettes, shadows, watching. The box in your hands hums louder now, a deep, resonant sound that shakes the very air around you. It feels as though the world itself is vibrating with the force of it. You look down at the symbols, and this time they're not just glowing, they're shifting, twisting, changing. A voice, softer now, yet still filled with the same chilling certainty, whispers in your ear. Now this is where the journey ends. Welcome to the place where the chosen come to face what they've brought into the world. You swallow hard, your heart pounding in your chest. You don't know where you are, you don't know what this place is. But you know one thing, you're not alone, and you can't run anymore, you have to face what's coming for you. The figures in the distance begin to move closer, their forms becoming more defined. You can feel their eyes on you, those cold, empty eyes that seem to pierce through the fog straight into your soul. You clutch the box, the weight of it unbearable now. You take a step forward, your legs shaking, but you have no choice. You can't stop, you can't turn back. Though the journey has only just begun. As the figures approach, their movements deliberate, almost as if they're drawing you in, compelling you to face what you've tried to outrun for so long. The air thickens as they draw near, each figure more distinct now, their forms twisted and distorted like shadows of things that should not exist in this world. Their faces, when you can make them out, are strange, hollow, eyes that seem too large, too knowing, yet void of any warmth. You take another step forward, though your feet feel as though they're made of lead. The box in your hands is vibrating more intensely now, its symbols shifting faster, more erratically. The resonance within it is overwhelming, like the beating of an ancient heart echoing in the deepest recesses of your mind. Your fingers tremble as they grip it, yet you can't bring yourself to let it go. One of the figures, a woman, if she can even be called that, takes a step closer. Her silhouette is blurred, indistinct, like a wisp of smoke, but as she draws near, you catch a glimpse of something unsettling. Her features, though faceless, shift. One moment, she has the sharp, angular features of a noblewoman, the next, the hollow-eyed stare of someone long forgotten. Her presence is cold, suffocating. The chill in the air deepens as she reaches out, a skeletal hand extending toward the box. "Give it to us," she murmurs, her voice lilting and strange, as if it is carried on the wind itself, distant yet direct. It's not a command, but it carries the weight of inevitability, like an ancient force that cannot be. You take a step back, clutching the box to your chest. The box hums louder now, almost painfully, its pulse in sync with your racing heart. It's a warning, an urging, but it's also a trap. You can't help but feel it, the weight of everything it represents, the danger in its power. But you can't give it to her. You can't. Something deep inside you, something primal, tells you that if you relinquish it now, you'll be lost forever. Whatever this is, this place, this moment, you cannot leave it behind. You can't. Why, you ask, your voice shaky, as though the words themselves are afraid to be spoken. Why do you want it? The woman steps closer still, her face shifting yet again, and in an instant you realize with a growing dread that it's your own face she's wearing now. The hollow-eyed stare, the pain in her expression, is yours. You gasp, stepping back, but she mirrors you, moving just as you do, her empty eyes locking onto yours. "You've carried it too long," she whispers, her voice not her own, but a chorus of many voices all speaking at once. Its weight grows unbearable. You will surrender it or it will consume you. You are not the first to carry it and you will not be the last. Her hand moves, reaching toward the box once again, and in that instant you feel something sharp, like an invisible force gripping your chest. The air thickens. The fog presses in, closing in around you, making it harder to breathe. The symbols on the box glow brighter now, radiating an intense light that pulses, pushing back the darkness. It feels as though the very fabric of reality is bending and warping, the edges of the world curling up like old parchment. As a figure steps forward from the shadows, tall, imposing, with a presence that seems to distort the space around them. Their face is an amalgamation of countless others, shifting and changing in a way that makes your stomach churn. They don't speak at first, but you can feel their gaze on you, the weight of it like an anchor pulling you deeper into the void. You cannot run from this, the figure says, their voice like 1,000 whispers colliding. The box has chosen you. You were always meant to carry its burden, to face its consequences. You stare at the figure, your mind racing. Meant to carry its burden, what does that even mean? You never asked for this, you never wanted any of this. You were just a man lost in a world that made little sense. But now you realize that whatever you've been holding on to, this box, this journey, it's all been a part of something much bigger than you. The symbols on the box flare up once more, their light so bright it's almost blinding. The air around you crackles with energy, the ground beneath your feet vibrating with a strange, resonant hum. You feel your body being pulled in every direction, as though the very essence of the world is twisting, bending, and warping around you. The figures are all around you now, circling. Their eyes are on the box, but they're also on you, and you feel as though you are being judged, weighed, tested. You will not leave until you understand. The figure's voice booms, echoing in your head as though the very thought is being pushed into your mind. Until you understand what this box means. Until you understand the cost of what you've taken. You try to speak, but the words fail you. You're paralyzed, trapped between the overwhelming power of the box and the force of these strange, spectral figures surrounding you. The fog grows thicker, heavier, and you feel yourself sinking into it deeper and deeper, as though the ground itself is swallowing you whole. And then suddenly you hear something unexpected, a voice. A familiar voice that cuts through the cacophony, breaking through the noise like a beacon of light. Oh, you still have a choice. You snap your head around, searching for the source of the voice, but it's not a figure in the mist. It's her, your wife. The woman you once sold, the woman who walked away from you. Her voice is soft, almost lost in the wind, but you hear it clearly in your mind. Oh, you don't have to carry this weight anymore. You can put it down, you can walk away. You freeze, her voice reaches deep into you, wrapping itself around the broken parts of your soul. You know this voice, faint and distant as it is, it's the voice of someone who once loved you, who once stood by your side. And in that moment, you realize that this journey, this choice has never been about the box. It's always been about you, about facing what you've done, about reconciling with the person you were and the one you've become. The figures around you stop moving, the air stills. For the first time, everything falls silent. The weight of the box is not yours to bear forever. You choose the path ahead. The light from the box fades, the glow dimming to a soft pulse. The symbols etched into its surface flicker, as if they're waiting for something, waiting for your decision. You look down at it, at the weight you've been carrying for so long. And for the first time, you think you understand what she meant. The box has been with you, but it doesn't define you. It's an object, a symbol, and symbols can be discarded. Choices can be made. You take a slow breath, you know what you must do. You close your eyes for a moment, and with a final, almost imperceptible nod to the darkness, you step forward and you drop the box. And in that moment you feel it, like the weight of 1,000 lifetimes lifting off your shoulders. The fog begins to clear, the figures around you begin to fade, and the world starts to feel real again. So the journey may have begun with the box, but it's ending with you. Though the weight is gone, you are free. And then the fog slowly, softly begins to lift. As the box falls from your hands, there's a moment, just a brief instant, when the world stands still. The fog around you begins to lift, like the first rays of dawn breaking through a long, dark night. The oppressive air that had wrapped itself around you loosens, and with it, the heaviness in your chest starts to ease. The figures, the strange, spectral beings who had once encircled you like a tightening noose, fade into the distance. Their hollow eyes dim, their voices quiet, until all that remains is the echo of their words, distant and fading. The box, now lying on the ground before you, no longer pulses with that eerie light. Its symbols, once so sharp, are now dull, as if the very essence of what it represented has been drained away. It feels ordinary now, just a box, just an object. No longer the thing that defined your paths. You stand there for a long moment, staring down at it, almost in disbelief. The weight is gone. The burden that you thought would never leave you is no longer yours to carry. You look up, and for the first time in what feels like forever, you see the street clearly, no fog, no mist, no distortion. The buildings are solid, the cobblestones beneath your feet are steady, and the world, in its quiet simplicity, seems to have returned to its normal rhythm. The air is still cool, but it's a relief compared to the suffocating heaviness that had once surrounded you. The night is far from over, but something about it feels different now. More serene, less threatening. The silence isn't oppressive anymore, it's peaceful, almost comforting. As a soft wind stirs the remnants of the fog brushing against your face. You inhale deeply, feeling the cool air fill your lungs. For the first time, it feels like you can breathe again. You stand still, taking in the simple clarity of the moment as though the world has exhaled with you. You turn, and in the distance you spot a faint light. It's the flicker of a lantern casting a warm glow in the otherwise quiet street. You don't know why it feels important, but it does. Something about that small, flickering light calls to you like a beacon, a guidepost in the darkness. You take a step toward it. As you walk, the streets begin to feel familiar again, though they are still empty, still silent. There's a sense of safety now. The echoing footsteps that once felt like they belonged to some shadowed pursuit are now merely your own. With every step, the air feels clearer. You feel lighter. The burden of the box has lifted, but the sense of having completed something, of having let go, remains. You arrive at the lantern, and with it, the realization that you've come full circle. It's a street lamp at the corner, glowing softly, its flickering flame dancing in the gentle wind. Beneath it, there's a bench, a simple wooden structure weathered by time. You sit down, the weight on your chest finally gone, and for the first time in what feels like an eternity, you allow yourself to rest. The night is calm now, and with it, you find that you've been holding your breath without even realizing it. The quiet is soothing, almost meditative. You close your eyes, letting the world around you settle, the soft hum of life continuing at its own pace, indifferent to your struggles. You think of everything that has led you to this moment, the strange journey you've been on, the weight of the box, the figures, the voice of your wife, and the choices that have brought you here. And as you sit there, the weight of the past begins to fade, not with a dramatic release, but with the slow, gentle comfort of acceptance. You have carried that burden for so long, but now it's as though a great weight has been lifted from you, not because you've outrun it, but because you've accepted it. You've let go. For a long while, you sit in the quiet, watching the lantern flicker and sway in the wind. The world is simpler now. No longer does the weight of your past define you. The box was never truly what you thought it was. It wasn't a curse, nor was it the key to your redemption. It was just a symbol, a marker of your choices, your struggles, your journey. But in the end, it was you who had to decide what to do with it. And you chose to let it go. The wind picks up again, the rustling of the trees surrounding you a soft, gentle symphony. The fog, once so thick and suffocating, has lifted entirely, leaving behind a stillness that is almost sacred. The night, which had once felt like a maze of confusion and darkness, now feels like an open space full of possibilities. As a quiet realization settles within you, this is not an ending but a beginning. The fog may have cleared, but there is still much to learn, much to explore, and much to understand. You may not know what lies ahead, but for the first time you feel ready to face it. You stand slowly, your legs still steady, but now with a new sense of purpose. The lantern flickers behind you, a quiet companion on your journey. You don't know where the path leads, but you know this, it's your path. You're no longer weighed down by the past, by the decisions that once seemed impossible to escape. You've let them go. And as you step into the open street, the night no longer feels like a shadow. It feels like a canvas, waiting to be filled with new stories, new choices, and new beginnings. You walk, and this time the city feels alive with possibility. The street ahead is bathed in soft moonlight, its warmth casting long shadows on the cobblestones beneath your feet. The lantern behind you flickers one last time before dimming, leaving you with only the distant glow of the city far ahead. For a moment, you simply stand there, absorbing the quiet. The silence is no longer uncomfortable. It feels like a companion, like the world itself is giving you space to breathe. You begin to walk again, this time with a steady, deliberate pace. The fog has fully lifted and the streets, though still empty, no longer seem threatening. Instead, they feel inviting, as if the city in its own way is waiting for you to come back, to take your place in its rhythm once again. You know that you have a long way to go before you truly understand the weight of the decisions you've made. There are still pieces of the puzzle left unsolved, unanswered questions that linger in the back of your mind. But that's okay. For the first time in a long while, you don't feel the need to have all the answers. The past, with all its twists and turns, is no longer something that controls you. It's simply part of your story, a chapter, and you're ready to write the next one. As you walk, the sound of your footsteps echoes in the street, steady and assured. The air is still cool, but there's a sense of calm to it now, no longer oppressive or stifling. The distant hum of the city is faint, but it's there. People are still living their lives, moving through the night in their own quiet way, and for the first time you realize that you are just another part of it. Another fleeting moment in the grand, ever-moving pulse of the world. You pass a small bakery, its windows fogged slightly from the warmth inside. The smell of freshly baked bread drifts through the crack in the door, and for a moment you're reminded of simpler times. Of the days when life was measured by smaller things, the comfort of a warm meal, the familiarity of a well-worn path. The world felt smaller then, didn't it? But now it feels vast, filled with possibility, even in its quiet corners. You pause for a moment outside the bakery, looking in. There's a young girl inside, kneading dough, her face flushed with concentration. Her movements are fluid, graceful, as if she's done this 1,000 times before. She catches your eye for a brief moment and she smiles. A simple, kind smile. It's a moment that feels like a whisper of something familiar, something comforting. You smile back, and without thinking, you step inside. The warmth of the bakery wraps around you like a blanket, and the sweet scent of freshly baked bread fills the air. The girl looks up from her work, her smile still soft but now accompanied by a hint of curiosity. "A good evening," she says, her voice gentle but confident. "Can I help you?" You pause for a moment, the words caught in your throat. It's been so long since you've felt the comfort of normalcy, of human interaction that doesn't feel like it's wrapped in a cloak of darkness. You open your mouth to speak, but the words seem so inadequate in the face of the simple kindness this girl offers. "A loaf of bread, please," you manage to say, your voice still hoarse, as though you've been holding back for too long. The girl nods and begins to slice a loaf from the fresh batch. As she hands you the warm bread, your fingers brush hers for a brief moment. The contact is small, fleeting, but it carries a weight, a connection. The simplest of human exchanges. You take the bread and she smiles again, this time more knowingly, as if she understands something about the journey you've been on. "And take care of yourself," she says, her voice soft but firm. "The world may seem heavy, but it has its moments of peace. You'll find them if you let yourself." Her words catch you off guard, and you stand there for a moment, staring at the bread in your hands. There's something in the simplicity of it, in the kindness of this small moment, that feels like a shift. A subtle but profound change in the way you see the world. "Thank you," you finally say, your voice steadier now. You step back out into the cool night air, the weight of the bread comforting in your hands. It's just bread, but for some reason it feels like more. It feels like a reminder, a simple gesture that everything can change, that even in the darkest of times there is room for something good, something pure. As you walk away from the bakery, the city feels different. It's still the same city with its twisting streets and forgotten corners, but now it feels like a place you can exist in again. A place where you're no longer just a lost soul wandering without purpose. You have a direction now, even if you do know where it will lead. The bread, warm in your hands, is a small comfort, but it's enough. For the first time in a long while, you feel something akin to hope stirring in your chest. The city around you is quiet, but you can feel the hum of life beneath the surface. The people, though strangers to you, are living their stories, walking their paths. And you, too, are part of that story now. Your journey hasn't ended, it's just beginning again. You stop for a moment, taking a deep breath. The world is still and calm, and for the first time in what feels like forever, you are present. You're here. And the weight you once carried, the burden that seemed so impossible to bear, has been replaced by something far more fleeting but just as real. The quiet comfort of the present moment. Though the street ahead seems to open up before you, the fog gone, the shadows fading into the night. You feel lighter, freer, as if something inside you has shifted. You take another step and then another. The city hums, the night carries on, and your story, your journey continues. One step at a time. The path before you seems clearer now, more defined, though the city continues to hum with its own quiet rhythm. The night stretches on, not in an endless darkness, but in the soft, enveloping calm of a world that has finally found its center. You walk on, each step lighter than the last, the bread still warm in your hands, its comforting weight a reminder that life doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's enough to simply exist. As you continue through the city, you notice the smallest of things, the rustle of leaves in a distant tree, the quiet hum of a conversation in an alleyway, the faint sound of footsteps approaching from behind. But none of it feels threatening. None of it feels overwhelming. It's all just part of the world you've returned to. The fog, once so thick and suffocating, has vanished entirely. The stars above are barely visible through the light haze of the city's glow, but you don't need them. You're no longer searching for a guiding light in the sky. You've found it here, in the warmth of your own breath, in the simplicity of the night around you. You turn a corner and find yourself standing in front of an old, familiar building. It's small, quaint, with ivy crawling up its brick walls, the windows dark but inviting. The door, slightly ajar, beckons you in. It's the old library. The place where you used to spend hours reading, learning, escaping into other worlds. It feels like the right place to be, familiar, comforting, a place where your story, your journey, can pause for a moment. You step inside, the creak of the wooden door the only sound that breaks the silence. The air is thick with the scent of old books, of paper and ink, and the soft, welcoming glow of a single lamp illuminates the front desk. The librarian, an older woman with silver hair and a gentle smile, looks up as you enter. "Ah," she says, her voice warm and familiar. "It's been a while, hasn't it?" You smile back, nodding slowly. Yes, I've been away. Finding yourself, she asks, her eyes twinkling with a knowing glimmer. You hesitate, the words on the tip of your tongue. How do you explain to her the journey you've been on? How do you describe the weight you've carried, the burden you've dropped, and the sense of peace you're slowly beginning to feel? I think so, you finally say, your voice soft but steady. I think I'm starting to... She gives you a kind, understanding smile. Good, that's all anyone can ask for. Sometimes the answers are right where we left them, waiting patiently for us to come back and see them for what they really are. You walk deeper into the library, letting the silence wrap around you like an old, comfortable blanket. The shelves stretch high, filled with stories, some old, some new, some forgotten. You run your fingers along the spines, the familiar texture grounding you, reminding you of who you were before this journey began. Before the box, before the fog, before the strange twists that led you here. But now the library feels different. It's not just a place to escape, it's a place to reflect, to understand, to move forward. The librarian watches you for a moment, then returns to her work, and you wander deeper into the library, drawn by the shelves of novels, histories, and poetry. You stop at a shelf of poetry and pull a book from the shelf. The pages are worn, the edges frayed, and as you open it, you realize it's a collection of poems you once read years ago. You used to pore over these pages, searching for answers that never quite came. But now the words feel different. They resonate in a way they never did before. You sit down at a small table near the window, the moonlight spilling softly across the pages. You read the first few lines of a poem and something stirs inside you, an understanding, a connection that was always there waiting for you to find it. The words are familiar, but they feel like they're speaking directly to you, as though the poet knew exactly what you needed to hear. The lines echo in your mind. The journey is never over, for the road is not the end but the beginnings. You pause, letting the words sink in. The road is not the end, it's the beginning. A slow smile forms on your lips, and for the first time it feels like you're truly at peace. The journey you've been on, the choices, the struggles, the pain, it was all leading you here, to this moment, to this realization. You sit in the library for hours, lost in the comfort of the words, the silence, and the soft glow of the lamp. The world outside fades, but inside there's only stillness. And in that stillness, you begin to understand that this is what it's always been about, not finding a destination, but embracing the journey. It's the learning, the growing, the letting go. As the night wears on, you finally close the book and stand up, feeling lighter than you have in years. You thank the librarian, who offers another warm smile, as if she too understands the weight you've dropped, the peace you've found. You leave the library and step back out into the cool night. The city is quieter now, the streets empty, but the air feels different. The fog has lifted, and with it, your own burdens. The path ahead is clear, though you do know where it will lead. But for the first time, you feel ready for whatever comes next. The bread in your hands is still warm. A simple reminder that the small things matter, that the moments of peace are worth seeking, no matter how chaotic the world around you may be. You walk forward step by step, the city now a place of possibility, not burden. And with each step, you feel more at home, more connected, more at peace with yourself. The journey continues, but now it's not something you need to escape. It's something you embrace. The night is calm, the world vast, and you walking through it finally feel like you're exactly where you need to be. The path ahead is quieter now, the city gently tucked beneath a blanket of moonlight and soft stars. The streets, though still familiar, seem to stretch with endless possibility, as if the weight of every step is now a deliberate choice. No longer pushed forward by the burden of what's behind, but guided by the gentle pull of what lies ahead. With each footfall, the sound of your movements in the quiet night feels less like the echo of a lost man and more like the rhythm of someone at peace. The world no longer feels too large, too overwhelming. The fog which once engulfed your vision has receded. Now the city seems to breathe, to open itself to you, like a forgotten friend extending an invitation for the first time in a long while. You pass through streets you've walked countless times before, but now they look different. The lamplights flicker softly, casting golden halos on the cobblestones beneath your feet. Even the faint rustle of leaves in the trees overhead feels like a quiet, secret conversation, like nature itself is whispering stories that it's held close for ages. A small sense of wonder creeps into your chest as you realize just how much you've been walking through life without truly seeing it. How much you've taken for granted in the rush to escape, to push forward, to outrun your own fears. You look around at the quiet world and something shifts inside of you. It's not that the journey you've been on is over, it's just that you've found something important within it. Something valuable, something real. As you continue, the street becomes more open, more expansive. The buildings gradually give way to a quieter part of the city, a place where trees grow in clusters, where the faint sound of a nearby river can be heard, its soft babbling cutting through the stillness of the night. You're drawn to the river as though it calls to you, beckoning you forward. There's a small bridge that crosses the water, its structure old but sturdy, worn by time, much like the city itself. You walk across the bridge, your eyes following the gentle flow of the river below. The moonlight dances on the water, creating a shimmering reflection that seems to pull you in, as if it holds some deeper meaning, some unspoken truth that only this quiet moment can reveal. For a long while, you simply stand there looking down at the water, feeling the cool breeze ruffle your hair. It's strange how peaceful it feels here at this moment in this place. No words are necessary, no explanations. There's nothing but the quiet hum of the world around you and the soft beating of your own heart. You think of all the times you've looked for answers, for meaning, for something to fill the emptiness you once felt. And yet, now that you're standing here with nothing more than the stillness of the night and the quiet flow of the river, you realize that the answers you sought were never far away. They were always here in the simple moments, the moments you had been too busy to notice. You breathe in deeply, the air rich with the scent of earth and water. It's a small moment, but it feels significant, a moment of clarity that washes over you like the river beneath the bridge. You have spent so much time running, so much time searching for a way to escape what you thought was the weight of the world. But it wasn't the world that was heavy. It was the burdens you carried with you, the guilt, the unresolved questions, the fear of facing what you had done. And now, standing here, you feel that weight lift for the first time. The river continues its course undisturbed by your presence. It moves forward regardless of what's come before or what's yet to come. It simply is. And somehow in this moment you understand. The journey is not about escaping or outrunning, it's about acceptance. It's about recognizing the things you can't change and finding peace in the places where you do have control over your choices, your actions, and the way you move forward. You sit on the edge of the bridge, your legs dangling above the water, the coolness of the evening air kissing your skin. The world around you is still, but inside there's a quiet stir of something new, a sense of peace, of calm that you've never known before. It's as if the city, the river, and the night itself have accepted you into their fold, and for the first time you feel like you belong. The silence stretches on, but it's no longer uncomfortable. It's comforting, like a good long rest after a long journey. Eventually, you rise from the bridge, leaving the river behind. But something inside you has changed, shifted. You're no longer the person who arrived in the city lost, burdened, searching. You've found something in the quiet, something in the stillness that's given you a new understanding of yourself. The weight of the past no longer holds you captive. You've let it go. And in its place, you've discovered a small but powerful sense of freedom. As you walk away from the bridge, the city begins to feel like a place you can inhabit again. The streets, once strange and full of tension, now seem familiar, almost welcoming. The world no longer feels like an enemy. It feels like a place of possibility. You continue walking, not sure where your feet will take you next. But for the first time, you don't need to know. The journey is no longer something to escape, it's something to embrace. The river continues to flow, and you too continue forward with nothing but the quiet peace of this moment to guide you. The night is still, the air cool, and the city stretches ahead. A place full of potential, full of life, full of moments waiting to be discovered. And for the first time in a long while, you feel that the journey has just begun. As you walk through the quiet city, the rhythmic sound of your footsteps is the only noise that accompanies you. The world seems to be holding its breath, and the stillness that stretches around you feels like a long-forgotten secret. The buildings, once looming and intimidating, now feel like old friends, familiar in their quiet dignity. The faint glow of the streetlights casts long shadows, but they no longer seem sinister. They are simply there, part of the fabric of the city, just as you are now. You pass a small, the windows fogged up from the warmth inside. You hear the soft clink of cups and the murmur of conversation, but there's no rush, no urgency. Inside, you see a few people gathered around tables, their faces soft in the golden glow of the lamps. You wonder briefly what it would be like to sit among them, to simply enjoy a quiet evening, unburdened by the weight of your past. But you don't go inside. For now, you're content to continue walking, allowing the calm of the night to seep into your bones. The city feels alive in a way that it hasn't in a long time. You notice small details that you once would have overlooked. An old man tending to his garden, a young couple laughing softly under a tree, a stray cat curling up on a stoop to sleep. These moments are fleeting, like sparks in the dark, but they are beautiful in their simplicity. The world is full of these small, perfect moments, and for the first time you realize you're paying attention to them. You reach another bridge, this one smaller than the first, its wooden slats creaking under your feet as you cross. The river beneath you flows lazily, its surface reflecting the moonlight like a mirror. You pause for a moment, leaning over the railing, watching the water move in quiet patterns. It's peaceful here, and you feel a sense of belonging that you haven't felt in a long time. For a brief moment, you imagine the river as a symbol of your own journey. Like the river, you've been carried forward by forces beyond your control, moved along by currents that seemed impossible to escape. But now you're here. You've found a place where the flow doesn't feel like a burden but a gentle guidance, carrying you towards something new. You lean against the railing, closing your eyes and let the sounds of the night wash over you. The soft rustle of leaves, the distant murmur of voices, the steady hum of life in the city. For the first time, you feel like you can breathe without the weight of the world pressing down on your chest. The wind picks up again, cool and refreshing, and you inhale deeply, letting it fill your lungs. The night feels alive in a way that you never noticed before. It's quiet, yes, but it's full of possibility. There's a hum beneath the silence, a rhythm to the world that you've only just begun to hear. You open your eyes and look out over the river once more. The moonlight dances on the water, creating ripples of light that stretch across the surface. It's mesmerizing, and for a moment you forget about everything, about the past, the box, the decisions you've made. It's just you, the river, and the stillness of the night. The city, once so overwhelming, no longer feels like a maze. It feels like a place to explore, a place to discover new things, not just about the world, but about yourself. You realize with a quiet sense of peace that the journey is no longer something you need to escape from. It's something you can embrace. You leave the bridge and continue on your walk, your footsteps slow and measured. The night feels like an open door and you don't know what's on the other side, but for the first time it doesn't matter. You're not running toward anything anymore. You're simply moving forward, letting the rhythm of life guide you. As you walk, you begin to notice the small things again. The scent of fresh bread wafting from a bakery, the sound of laughter from an open window, the faint hum of music coming from somewhere down the street. These moments, these small, fleeting instances of life are the threads that weave the fabric of the world around you. And now you see them, you hear them, you feel them. You take another deep breath, the air rich with the smells of the city. It's not just the bread or the flowers or the damp earth, it's the life that fills the air. The possibility, the freedom. You pass a small park, its gates open wide, inviting anyone who wants to enter. You glance inside and see children running, their laughter echoing in the stillness of the night. You smile softly, remembering a time when you too ran carefree, unburdened by the weight of the world. The city, like the river, moves forward. It doesn't wait for you to catch up, but it doesn't rush either, it simply is. And in that moment, you realize that you too are simply being. You don't have to rush to the next thing, to the next destination, to the next choice. You are here, you are present. For so long, you had been running from the box, from the past, from the choices you couldn't undo. But now, standing in the quiet of the city, you realize that you don't need to outrun anything anymore. You don't need to escape. You just need to be. The sound of laughter from the park grows louder, and you hear the soft rustle of leaves in the trees. The city is alive with its own quiet hum, and you are part of it now. Not an outsider, not a stranger, but a participant in the world around you. The journey has brought you here, and you are exactly where you need to be. You pause for a moment, letting the weight of the night settle around you. There's no rush, no urgency. The world will continue, and so will you. But for now, in this quiet corner of the city, you are content. And you smile, knowing that whatever comes next, you are ready. The air around you hums with life, subtle yet vibrant. The city seems alive in a way you haven't felt in a long time, each corner holding its own rhythm, each footstep echoing a story, each laugh a soft ripple in the vast ocean of time. There's a sense of connection in the simple, everyday moments, the rustling of leaves in the trees, the soft murmur of conversation from nearby, the flicker of lights in windows as families settle down for the night. You walk deeper into the city, no longer feeling the weight of the past pressing down on you. Each step feels lighter, more certain, as if you're moving in sync with the pulse of the world around you. The uncertainty that once clouded your mind has lifted, replaced by something softer, something quieter. Peace, perhaps, or the beginning of understanding. You pass by a small market, the stalls now closed for the night but still adorned with remnants of the day's trade, fruit baskets, bundles of flowers, woven goods. There's a quiet beauty in these leftovers, in the simple, unfinished tasks that make up a day's work. The vendors are long gone, but their presence lingers in the space like the echo of their footsteps still alive in the air. You stop at the edge of the market, looking at the baskets of apples that remain. Their red skin glistens under the soft glow of the "you don't need any apples," and yet you're drawn to them, their simplicity almost magnetic. You reach out and gently touch one, its smooth surface cool under your fingers. It feels solid, real. Something about it resonates with the moment, with this journey of quiet discovery. You smile and move on, leaving the market behind. The city stretches ahead of you, its streets quiet but welcoming. The hum of life is still present, but now it feels like a background noise to the moment you're living. The world moves around you and you feel as though you're part of it, no longer standing outside, no longer lost. You are here, exactly where you need to be. As you continue, the night deepens and the coolness of the air wraps around you like a soft blanket. There's a distant sound of a piano playing somewhere, its notes drifting through the stillness of the street. You pause, listening for a moment. The melody is haunting, but in a beautiful way. It's not the kind of music you've heard in the grand concert halls or polished theaters. It's something more personal, more intimate. You feel the need to follow it, drawn by the quiet power of the song. You walk toward the sound, moving through winding alleys and side streets until you find yourself in front of a small, unassuming building. The music grows louder as you approach, and you realize the sound is coming from inside. A small, dimly lit sign above the door reads, "The Velvet Note." There's something about it that feels right, as if this is the next part of your journey, the next door you need to open. You push the door open slowly, the soft creak of the hinges almost as if the building is welcoming you. Inside, the room is bathed in low, golden light. There's a small stage at the front, and behind it a grand piano sits under the spotlight, its keys moving in time with the music that fills the room. The atmosphere is intimate, the air thick with the scent of aged wood and coffee. There are a few people scattered around small tables, their faces lit by the flickering candlelight, their conversations hushed, as if they, too, understand the beauty of the moment. You find a seat in the back near the bar where a soft smile greets you from the bartender. You nod in acknowledgement, your attention drawn back to the pianist at the stage. The music is gentle, but with a sense of hope, of quiet resolution. It's the kind of music that feels like it's speaking directly to your soul, like it understands your journey in ways you can't articulate. As the pianist plays, you let the music wash over you, each note carrying you further into the present. The weight of your past, the confusion, the uncertainties, everything fades away with each key that is struck. You feel your shoulders relax, the tension you didn't realize was there easing from your body. The melody is both a balm and a spark, igniting something within you, a quiet fire of realization. There's beauty in surrender. In simply being here in this moment, with the music, with the people around you, with the city that is still asleep and yet alive all around you. The city that is filled with possibility, with small moments waiting to be found. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the music guide you, letting it be the voice that carries you forward. The notes seem to reach deep into you, unraveling the knots that have held you for so long. There is no rush, no destination, just the music, just the moment. As after a while the pianist's fingers slow, the melody drifting to a soft conclusion. The room is still for a moment, a collective breath held before the final note fades into the air. And then the applause comes, soft, respectful, appreciative of the gift that's just been shared. The pianist smiles a modest, almost shy grin and nods to the crowd before standing up and leaving the stage. The room returns to its quiet hum, the sound of soft voices and the clink of glasses filling the space. You sit back in your chair, feeling a sense of gratitude for the simple gift of this night. The world around you is still moving, still carrying on, but in this small corner of the city, it feels as though everything has paused. And for the first time in what feels like an eternity, you're content to simply exist in the moment, to let it be. You finish your drink, the warmth spreading through you, and for the first time you realize that you're not waiting for something. You're not waiting for the next step, the next turn in your journey. You're simply here, and that is enough. The night outside calls you, but not with the urgency it once had. It's a quiet invitation, a soft beckoning, and you're ready to answer it on your own terms at your own pace. As you step out of the velvet note and into the cool night air, the city feels more familiar than it ever has. The streets are still quiet, but the hum of life is no longer something you're afraid of. It's just the pulse of the world, moving at its own rhythm, and you are part of that rhythm now. You walk not toward any particular destination, but simply because the journey feels right. The weight you once carried, the fear, the uncertainty, it's gone. And in its place is a sense of calm, a sense of belonging, and a quiet understanding that the journey will continue as it always does. For now, the world is enough. And you, for the first time in a long time, feel that you are enough too. The streets unfold before you like a familiar story, one you've lived before but are seeing with new eyes. The night air is cool, but it doesn't bite anymore. It's gentle, almost reassuring, as if the world is coaxing you forward with quiet whispers, urging you to take the next step, whatever that may be. There's no rush now, no urgency. The rhythm of the city, once a frantic drumbeat, is now a soft, steady pulse that matches your own. You walk with no particular destination in mind, no plan. For the first time, you feel free to let the journey unfold as it will. The city, vast and sprawling, no longer feels overwhelming. It feels like an old companion, familiar and full of secrets, waiting to reveal itself when you're ready to listen. The streetlights flicker softly above you, casting long shadows on the cobblestones. You pass the same buildings you've walked by countless times, but tonight they look different. The familiar faces of the city, the shop windows, the quiet alleyways, all seem to hold a deeper meaning. Each one tells a story, a chapter in the ever-unfolding narrative of this place. And now you realize you're part of that story too. Your footsteps echo in the night, a steady rhythm that matches the pulse of the world around you. As you walk, you notice small details you've never seen before. An old man sitting on a bench, his cane resting beside him, his eyes closed as if he's lost in a memory. A cat curled up in the window of a bookstore, its eyes gleaming in the soft light. A couple walking hand in hand, their laughter soft and unhurried, like they've all the time in the world. These moments, these small fragments of life, are the heartbeat of the city. They are the quiet, unnoticed moments that make up the fabric of the world. And now you see them. Now you understand that this is where the magic lies, not in grand gestures, not in dramatic shifts, but in these quiet, fleeting instances that make up the beauty of existence. The moon is higher in the sky now, its light spilling softly across the rooftops and streets. The city, bathed in its glow, seems to breathe more slowly, more intentionally. It's as if the moonlight has illuminated not just the buildings, but the hidden corners of the world that have been waiting to be noticed. There is a sense of peace in the stillness of the night, a sense that everything is exactly as it should be. You stop for a moment, standing in front of a small that seems almost hidden, tucked away between two old buildings. The sign above the door reads "The Quiet Corner." The windows are fogged up from the warmth inside, and soft laughter drifts out from the crack in the door. The air smells faintly of coffee, baked goods, and something sweet, vanilla maybe, or cinnamon. It's a place you've passed by 100 times but never entered. Something about it calls to you now. You push the door open gently, and the soft chime of a bell rings above you. Inside, the atmosphere is warm and inviting, the air thick with the smell of fresh coffee and pastries. The soft murmur of conversation surrounds you, but it doesn't feel intrusive. It's a comfortable kind of noise, like a soft hum that fills the space but doesn't demand your attention. You feel a quiet sense of welcome, as if this place, too, is waiting for you to arrive. A woman behind the counter looks up as you enter, her eyes bright and kind. She smiles softly, A warm, familiar smile as if she's been waiting for you all along. "What can I get for you?" she asks, her voice soft but steady, like the quiet rhythm of the world itself. You look around for a moment, taking in the cozy interior, small wooden tables, mismatched chairs, shelves filled with books, plants hanging from the ceiling in colorful pots. The space is simple but inviting, a perfect reflection of the quiet beauty of the city itself. You approach the counter, drawn by the calm energy that fills the room. Coffee," you say, your voice steady, "and maybe something sweet." She nods, turning to prepare your order, and you find a seat by the window. The street outside is quiet, the soft glow of the streetlights casting long shadows on the sidewalk. The world outside feels far away, but in here, in this small corner of the city, time seems to slow down, to stretch out in the most pleasant way. You take a moment to simply breathe, to soak in the peaceful atmosphere. There's no rush, no expectations, no weight pressing down on you. Just this moment, this place, this quiet pause in the journey. As the woman brings you your coffee and a plate with a freshly baked pastry, she offers a soft, knowing smile. "Enjoy," she says, and you nod in thanks, the warmth of the coffee filling your hands. You take a sip, the rich, smooth taste of the coffee grounding you in the present. The pastry is sweet, flaky, comforting, and as you sit there sipping your coffee, you feel something shift within you once more. There's a quiet understanding, a gentle peace that settles deep in your chest. You are here in this moment, and that is enough. As outside, the city continues its quiet hum. The wind stirs the trees, the soft rustle of leaves filling the air. The stars above are faint, but they shine with a quiet, steady brilliance like small lights scattered across the vastness of the night sky. The world is big, yes, but in this moment it feels manageable. It feels like it belongs to you just as much as you belong to it. You finish your coffee and stand to leave, the warm glow of the lingering in your chest. As you step outside, the night feels softer, quieter, as if it, too, has slowed down to meet you where you are. You take a deep breath, the cool air filling your lungs, and you continue your walk, no longer searching for anything in particular, but simply enjoying the path beneath your feet. The journey ahead is still unknown, but for the first time it doesn't feel daunting. It feels like a wide-open road stretching before you, full of possibilities. And you walking down it step by step are finally at peace with the road you've traveled and the road yet to come. The city, the night, the journey, all of it feels like it's wrapping itself around you in a soft embrace. You walk on not because you have to, but because you want to. The world, for all its chaos and unpredictability, is beautiful in its quiet, unspoken ways. And for the first time, you feel like you're part of it. You take another step, and then another, each one a little lighter, a little freer. The journey continues, but you know now that it's not the destination that matters. It's the moments in between. And in those moments you've found peace. The city waits, and so do you, ready for whatever comes next. The night stretches on, each minute slipping by unnoticed as you walk through the city. The soft rhythm of your footsteps a constant companion. There's no destination in mind, no purpose other than to move, to keep going. to continue this gentle exploration of the world that now feels far more expansive and alive than it ever did before. As you walk, you find yourself back on familiar streets, but they seem new, unfamiliar in their familiarity, as if you are seeing them with fresh eyes. The lamplights cast long shadows on the cobblestones, and the cool breeze tousles your hair, carrying with it the scent of the river, of old stone, of distant flowers blooming somewhere in the quiet corners of the city. You pass a street corner where a small rundown stands. The door is ajar, the faint sound of a bell tinkling in the air as it swings open with a gentle creak. The shelves inside are stacked high with books, their spines weathered and worn, and you're drawn to it as if some unseen force is guiding you through the door. The world outside, quiet as it is, now seems distant, muted by the warmth of the shop's soft amber glow. Inside, the air is thick with the smell of old paper and ink, the kind of smell that feels timeless, that seems to belong to a place where stories have lived and breathed for centuries. The shop is cozy, with rows upon rows of books crammed into every corner, stacked on the floor, spilling over into the aisles. There's something almost sacred about it, this quiet, cluttered space where the weight of knowledge, of history, of stories hangs in the air. An elderly man is sitting behind the counter, hunched over a large, open book. He looks up as you enter, his eyes sharp despite his age, and offers a slow, welcoming smile. "Ah, a fellow traveler," he says, his voice gruff but warm, as though he said it 100 times before. "Looking for something or just passing through?" You smile, feeling the weight of the question in the simplicity of its words. You don't know if you're looking for something specific, but you know that the journey, the act of seeking, is more important than any destination. "I'm not sure," you reply softly. "Maybe just browsing, seeing where the path leads." The man chuckles, a soft, knowing sound that seems to echo in the quiet of the shop. "That's the best kind of journey, isn't it?" he says, his voice laced with quiet amusement. "Sometimes the books choose you, not the other way around." You wander through the aisles, running your fingers along the spines of the books. The titles are familiar in the way that old things are familiar. The kind of familiarity that doesn't feel like remembering, but like rediscovering something lost, something forgotten. You pull a book from the shelf, its cover faded and creased, and as you open the first page, you feel the weight of its history settle in your hands. It's a story about a man who travels through the night, seeking answers to questions that have haunted him for years. He walks through the city, through streets both familiar and strange, meeting people who offer him fragments of wisdom, of insight. As you read, you find yourself drawn to the words, to the quiet rhythm of the narrative, the gentle unfolding of the man's journey. There's something about it that resonates with your own journey. The seeking, the wandering, the searching for meaning in a world that often feels uncertain. You lose yourself in the pages for a while, the noise of the outside world fading away as the story envelops you. The old man behind the counter is still busy with his own book, lost in his thoughts. The only sound is the quiet rustle of the pages turning, the soft hum of the shop, the occasional creak of the floorboards beneath your feet. Eventually, you put the book down, feeling a strange sense of completion, as if the story has given you something you didn't know you needed. It isn't just the words on the page, but the sense of connection, the reminder that you're not alone in your journey. That others have walked this path before you, have sought answers, have wandered through the darkness and found light along the way. The shop feels quieter now, as if the moment has shifted, as if the city outside has paused, holding its breath. You turn back to the elderly man behind the counter, who has been watching you with a knowing smile. "It's funny, isn't it?" you say, almost to yourself. "How we walk through life trying to find meaning, to find something to hold on to. And yet, it's in the walking, in the journey itself, that we discover what we need." The man nods slowly, his gaze thoughtful. That's the thing about journeys. The answers are never at the end. They're in the moments along the way. In the people you meet, the books you read, the quiet spaces you find for yourself. You smile, a soft, contented smile, feeling a sense of peace settle over you once again. "Thank you," you say, more to the shop than to the man, "for the reminder." He nods, his eyes twinkling behind the glasses perched on the bridge of his nose. "Take it with you, traveler. And remember, sometimes the best thing to do is keep walking." You leave stepping back into the cool night, the city still as quiet as before, but somehow fuller now. The road ahead seems less uncertain, less overwhelming. There's a peace that has settled over you, a quiet understanding that you are, in this moment, exactly where you need to be. You walk on, the city stretching ahead of you, the night deepening around you. You don't know where this path will take you, but it no longer matters. The journey, the steps you take, the quiet moments you find along the way, that's what matters. The destination will reveal itself when it's ready, and in the meantime, you'll keep walking. The world hums gently around you, and you smile to yourself, knowing that in this vast, sprawling city you've found something essential. Not answers, not solutions, but a sense of belonging, a sense of peace. And for the first time, you realize that you don't need to know what comes next. You simply need to keep walking, one step at a time, into the quiet night. The night feels softer now, as if the city itself has wrapped you in its embrace, welcoming you back to the rhythms of life that you had once left behind. Each step you take seems to bring you closer to something, though you're not sure what that something is yet. Maybe it's just the slow unfolding of the world around you, a world that's not as complicated as you once believed. The path ahead is still unclear, but you feel less anxious about it. For the first time, it's not the destination that matters. It's the walk itself. The city has a pulse to it, one you're beginning to feel more keenly with every passing moment. The streets are alive with soft sounds, the clink of a distant cartwheel, the murmur of voices from a passing group, the low hum of the city as it settles into the quiet rhythm of the night. You pass the familiar street corners, the parks you've walked through, the doorways of old buildings where the memories of many lives linger. It all feels like it's part of you now, each space a fragment of the story you've been living, each step an ongoing chapter. You cross a bridge that spans a slow-moving river. The water below reflects the faint glow of streetlights, the surface rippling softly in the current. You lean over the railing for a moment, watching the water move, its steady flow a reminder that nothing in this world stays stagnant. The river is always moving forward just as you are. Always onward, even when it feels like the path is unclear. And then there it is. A sudden, unexpected realization, like a whisper in the back of your mind. You think about the path you've walked so far, how it has been filled with uncertainty, with moments of doubt and fear. And yet, as you stand here watching the river flow and feeling the city hum softly around you, you know that you've been moving all along. Each step you've taken, no matter how unsure or hesitant, has been part of the journey. You have never truly been lost. The journey itself, with all its twists and turns, was always leading you somewhere. And maybe it's not about the destination at all. Maybe it's about understanding that the journey is the destination. You stand for a moment longer, just watching the water. The moonlight reflects off its surface, and it strikes you again how much beauty exists in the simplest things. The quiet movement of the river, the stillness of the night, the soft glow of the city that never quite sleeps, these are the things that make up the world around you. Not the grand moments, not the dramatic changes, but the quiet, unnoticed instances that pass by every day. You take a deep breath, and with it, you feel the weight of everything you've been carrying. The questions, the confusion, the burdens begin to dissipate. It's not that you've solved anything, not that you've figured out the answer to all of life's questions. It's just that, in this moment, you feel a quiet peace settle in your chest. For the first time, you don't need to chase anything. You're already where you need to be. As you continue walking, you pass through a small park, its trees swaying gently in the breeze. There's a bench near the fountain, and you pause for a moment, deciding to sit. The fountain is quiet now, its water rippling gently in the soft night air. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the cool breeze on your skin, the hum of the city far away, the world quiet and still around you. In this moment, you let yourself simply be. No need to rush forward, no need to analyze or solve or chase. You are here, and that is enough. The sound of footsteps breaks the stillness, and you look up to see a man walking along the path, a small dog trotting beside him. The man's face is kind, his smile easy, and the dog looks up at you with curious eyes before wagging its tail. You smile back, and for a moment, it's as if the simplicity of this small exchange says everything you need to hear. You watch as the man and his dog continue down the path, their figures slowly disappearing into the distance. The quiet peace of the park settles back around you, and you realize that this is what life has always been about: connection. Not grand moments, but these quiet exchanges, these simple acts of presence, of sharing a moment with another, even if you never speak a word. Time moves forward. The city shifts around you, but here, in this quiet corner, it doesn't feel like you're racing toward anything. You are simply part of the ongoing hum, a part of the rhythm that moves the world forward. And that rhythm, though subtle, though often unnoticed, is enough to carry you. You stand from the bench feeling lighter, as if the world has opened up to you in a way it never has before. The night no longer feels like an intimidating expanse, but rather a soft blanket, inviting you to continue on, to discover more, to let go of the need to control everything and simply walk through it. As you walk on, you pass more familiar streets, and yet they feel new. The buildings seem to stretch upward in a way that feels less oppressive, the lamplights brighter and more welcoming. The city no longer feels like a maze, but a series of quiet spaces, places for discovery and connection. It's as if everything you've walked past before has come to life again, inviting you in, urging you to stop and notice the beauty in the small things. The next street you walk down is lined with shops, their windows glowing softly in the night. One of the windows catches your eye, a small shop tucked away between two larger buildings, its sign barely visible. Antiques and oddities, it reads, and something about it draws you in. You've passed this shop countless times, never stopping, but tonight something about it seems to call you. You push open the door and the bell above the door rings softly, its sound like a gentle welcome. The shop is small but cozy, filled with oddities and treasures from a different time, antique clocks, tarnished silverware, faded paintings. The shelves are crowded with relics, each one carrying its own story. The air is thick with the smell of old wood and dust, and there's something comforting about it, as though the shop itself is a place where memories are preserved, where time slows down. You wander through the aisles, your fingers grazing the edges of the objects, each one a silent reminder of the past. And then in the far corner you spot something that catches your eye, a small wooden box beautifully carved, its surface worn with age. You step closer, intrigued by it. The box is simple, but there's something about it that feels familiar, something that resonates deep inside you. You reach out and lift the box, feeling its weight in your hands. It's not like the box you once carried, but there's a connection, a strange sense of that washes over you. The carvings on the box are intricate, but they don't seem foreign. They feel like they belong to you, as if this box has been waiting for you all along. You hold it for a moment, the sense of connection growing stronger. And in that moment, you realize that the past, with all its confusion and burden, isn't something you need to outrun. It's something you've carried with you, something that's always been a part of you. And now you're ready to accept it, to let it be part of the story, not the end of it. You place the box back on the shelf, a sense of calm washing over you. You've let go, you've moved forward, and the journey, with all its twists and turns, continues one step at a time. The city hums around you, and as you walk back out into the night, you realize that you're no longer searching for answers. You've found them in the quiet moments, in the connections you've made along the way, and in the peace that comes with simply being. The world is still vast, but now it feels like a place you belong to. The journey continues, but this time you know it's not about finding something or getting somewhere. It's about walking through life with an open heart, ready for whatever comes next. The city seems to open up around you. No longer the maze it once was, but a vast, interconnected network of stories waiting to be told. You walk through the streets with a sense of ease, as though each step you take is part of the greater rhythm of the world. The sound of your footsteps now feels like a soft accompaniment to the hum of the city. A subtle, steady pulse that moves with you, through you, as if the world itself is in sync with your every motion. The night is still quiet, the air cool but not biting, carrying with it the faint scent of flowers from a nearby garden. You find yourself pausing every so often, taking in the small details that used to slip by unnoticed. The delicate curve of a wrought iron gate, the soft rustle of leaves in the trees, the way the lamplights cast long shadows on the pavement. These small moments, these quiet whispers of life, now seem to speak volumes. You stop at an old that has been here for as long as you can remember. Its windows are fogged up, the soft glow of light inside casting a warm halo on the street. The door creaks slightly as you push it open, and the familiar scent of coffee and pastries fills the air. The barista behind the counter looks up as you enter, offering a small, friendly smile, and you smile back, feeling as though you've crossed into a space where time slows, where the world outside doesn't matter. You order your usual, a coffee, black strong, and take a seat by the window. The world outside is still, the streets empty save for the occasional passerby. You watch them, the quiet figures moving through the night, each one carrying their own story, their own path. They too are walking through the world just as you are. The barista brings your coffee, and as you take a sip, you feel the warmth spread through you. It's simple, comforting, grounding. In this moment, you realize that there is beauty in simplicity, in the small, everyday moments that we often overlook. The taste of the coffee, the quiet hum of the soft glow of the lamp, all of it is enough. And for the first time, you feel truly at peace with where you are. You take a deep breath, letting the quiet settle into your bones. The weight of the past, the burden you've carried for so long, has finally lifted. The city no longer feels like something you need to escape from. It feels like something you can inhabit, something you belong to. As you sit there, watching the world move around you, you realize that the journey isn't about escaping or finding something new. It's about being present, about accepting the quiet, the stillness, and the beauty in the small moments. You are here in this moment, and that is enough. You finish your coffee slowly, savoring each sip, and when you leave, the night feels different. The city is still the same, but you are not. You are lighter, freer, more at peace with the world around you. The fog of uncertainty has lifted, and now there is only the soft glow of possibility waiting for you just ahead. You walk through the streets again, no longer searching for answers, no longer running from anything. The path ahead is still unknown, but you know now that it doesn't matter. What matters is that you are walking it, step by step, in tune with the rhythm of the world. As you continue down the quiet streets, you feel a sense of calm wash over you. The world around you is moving, but it feels like it's moving at its own pace, a pace that you've finally come to understand. The city, once an overwhelming maze of noise and confusion, now feels like a vast, open space, one that you are a part of, not a visitor to. You walk past a small park, its grass damp from the evening dew, and you find yourself drawn to it, as if the space itself is calling to you. The trees in the park are tall, their branches stretching high into the sky, and the quiet sound of the wind rustling through the leaves creates a soft, soothing symphony. You sit on a bench beneath one of the trees, the coolness of the wood beneath you grounding you in the present. The park is empty, save for a few scattered benches and the occasional bird flitting through the trees. The silence is deep, almost sacred, And for a moment, you close your eyes and just listen to the world around you, the rustling leaves, the distant hum of the city, the soft creak of the branches swaying in the breeze. You breathe in deeply, letting the air fill your lungs, and with each breath, you feel more connected to the world around you. As you sit there, you realize that this, too, is part of the journey, the quiet moments. The moments when nothing is happening, when everything slows down and you are simply being. There is no need to rush, no need to find the next step or the next destination. For now, you are enough. This moment, this stillness is enough. You open your eyes and look around the park once more. The trees stand tall and strong, their leaves rustling softly in the wind. The bench beneath you is simple, worn from years of use, but it provides the perfect place to rest. The world is vast, but in this moment it feels manageable. You are a part of it, not apart from it. The connection is simple, quiet, and profound. You take a deep breath, the cool air filling your lungs, and you realize that this is what life is about, not the big, dramatic moments, but the quiet, simple ones that pass unnoticed. The moments that make up the tapestry of your existence. The moments that you've been too busy to notice, too distracted to appreciate. But now you see them. Now you understand. For the first time in a long while, you feel like you found your place, not just in the city, but in the world. The fog has lifted. The uncertainty has faded, and in its place there is peace. There is acceptance. There is a quiet knowing that whatever comes next, you are ready for it. You stand from the bench, feeling a sense of calm settle over you. The night is still, the city stretching out ahead of you like a vast, open road. You are no longer running, you are no longer searching. You are simply walking, one step at a time, through the quiet, gentle rhythm of the world. And that, you realize, is enough. As you step away from the park, you feel the soft embrace of the city still lingering around you, wrapping its arms around you like a quiet, reassuring presence. The moon hangs low in the sky now, casting long, soft shadows across the streets, and the faint rustle of leaves in the wind creates a calming backdrop to your steps. The city, with its familiar streets and worn buildings, feels like an old friend, one that you've learned to understand, one that you've come to trust. With each step, you notice more details you never would have before. The sound of a dog barking in the distance, the gentle creak of an old door opening, the soft murmur of conversations spilling from an open window. The city is alive with its own quiet rhythm, its own secret heartbeat that you are now attuned to. You've become a part of it, just as it has become a part of you. You pass a small, unassuming bakery, the warm, sweet scent of freshly baked bread wafting through the air. You pause for a moment, inhaling deeply, the aroma comforting in its simplicity. The window is fogged up from the heat inside, but you can see the soft glow of the lights through the glass. It feels like the kind of place where time slows down, where the world outside fades away for just a moment, allowing you to savor the small things, the simple things. Inside, a young woman is kneading dough behind the counter. She doesn't see you at first, her focus entirely on the task at hand, her movements fluid and graceful as though she's done this 1,000 times before. There's something grounding in watching her work, in the quiet rhythm of her hands, the soft thud of the dough as she presses it into shape. It feels like she's part of the world, like she's connected to it in a way that makes everything seem just a little bit more real. As after a moment she looks up, her eyes meeting yours. A smile breaks across her face, a warm, genuine expression that makes you feel like you've stepped into something you were always meant to be a part of. It's not just a smile, it's an invitation, a gesture of kindness that makes the world feel just a little bit more welcoming. "A good evening," she says, her voice light and friendly. "Can I get you something?" You smile back, feeling the simplicity of the moment wrap itself around you like a soft blanket. "A loaf of bread, please," you say, "and maybe something sweet if you have it." She nods, pulling a warm loaf of bread from the oven and wrapping it carefully in paper. The sweet scent of it fills the small space, and for a moment the world outside seems to fall away. It's just you, her, and the bread. The simplicity of it is almost overwhelming in its beauty. She hands you the bread and a small pastry, her smile still warm. "Take care," she says as you reach for your change. "And don't forget to enjoy the simple moments. They make all the difference." You thank her and step back out into the night, the weight of the bread in your hands a comforting reminder of the world's gentler side. The city around you is still quiet, but it's no longer cold or distant. It feels like a place where you can exist, a place where you are part of something, where you have found a rhythm that matches your own. You walk through the streets again, feeling the warmth of the bread, the sweetness of the pastry, and the quiet peace that has settled into your chest. The path ahead is still unclear, but for the first time you realize that it doesn't need to be defined. You don't need to know where it leads. What matters is that you are walking it, step by step, savoring the small moments along the way. As the city hums around you, its heartbeat steady and sure. The moonlight filters through the trees, casting dappled shadows on the sidewalk, and the world feels still, like it's holding its breath, waiting for something, but you're not rushing. You don't need to. The journey is enough. You take another deep breath, the cool night air filling your lungs. The quiet settles around you like a cocoon, and for the first time in a long while you feel like you've finally found your place. The city, with its crooked streets and old buildings, is no longer a maze. It's home. The next few days pass in a blur of quiet moments and gentle discoveries. You continue to walk the streets, no longer with the sense of urgency that once drove you, but with a calm, deliberate pace. The city, still alive with its own rhythm, feels more like a companion now, a place where you can exist without fear, without hesitation. You visit the bakery regularly, buying fresh bread, savoring the simple pleasures that come with each loaf. The woman behind the counter continues to smile at you, her warmth a constant reminder of the kindness that still exists in the world. Sometimes you linger in the sipping your coffee and watching the world outside, content in the knowledge that you don't need to rush. One evening, as you walk through the park, you come across a group of children playing, their laughter carrying through the air. The sight of them, so carefree and full of energy, fills you with a soft sense of nostalgia. You remember a time when you, too, ran through the streets with no care in the world, when the path ahead felt open and full of possibility. But you realize that, in a way, it still is. The children run past you, their laughter echoing in the stillness, and you smile. They don't see you, but for a moment it feels like they've reminded you of something important. Life is not just about the destinations we reach, but about the moments along the way. The laughter, the small conversations, the simple connections that weave the fabric of our existence. As the days pass, you begin to notice that you're no longer just walking through the city. You're moving through it with a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging that you hadn't felt before. The world around you feels less like a collection of random events and more like a story you're a part of, and that realization fills you with a quiet joy. The paths you take no longer feel like a series of endless twists and turns. Instead, they feel like a natural part of your journey, each one leading to the next, each one unfolding with a sense of ease and peace. The weight of the past has long since lifted, and the future, though still unknown, doesn't seem as daunting. You've learned that the journey is not just about reaching a destination, but about the way you walk through the world, how you choose to experience each moment, each step along the way. And for the first time, you realize that you've found your place in it. The city continues to hum around you, the streets alive with possibility, and you walk on, knowing that whatever comes next, you are ready. The journey continues not because you must reach the end, but because the steps themselves are worth taking. And with each step, you grow deeper, wiser, more connected to the world around you. The future may still be uncertain, but you know now that you are no longer searching for it. You are simply living it, step by step. The rhythm of the city continues, steady and unyielding, like the beat of a drum that echoes through the streets, filling the space around you with a comforting familiarity. Days blend into nights, and the passage of time no longer feels like a relentless force, but something gentle and soothing. Each day is a quiet chapter in a story that is still being written, and you are no longer searching for the meaning of it, you are simply living it. The park you've walked through so many times has become a familiar refuge, a place where you can sit quietly and watch the world pass by. It's the simplicity of these moments that draws you in, the soft rustle of leaves, the distant sound of children laughing, the low murmur of conversations from the benches around you. In the park, you are reminded that life doesn't need to be complicated. It's in these moments, these small, fleeting encounters, that you find meaning. One afternoon, you find yourself at a bench near the fountain, watching as the water splashes softly in the bowl below. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the warm sunlight on your face, the sound of the water mingling with the soft chatter around you. You breathe in deeply, the air rich with the scent of fresh grass and flowers. For the first time in a long time, you let yourself simply exist in this moment, without the weight of past regrets or future uncertainties. As a couple walks past, their hands entwined, their laughter light and carefree. The sight of them makes you smile, not because it stirs up old memories, but because it reminds you of the beauty of companionship. The simple, unspoken connection that exists between two people who have found their way to each other. You watch them walk down the path, their steps in sync, and for a moment you realize that this, too, is part of the journey. The connections we make, the people who cross our paths, and the quiet moments that bind us together. Your thoughts are interrupted by the sound of footsteps approaching. You turn to see an older man, his face lined with age and experience, carrying a small bag of birdseed. He sits on the bench next to you, his movements slow and deliberate, and he begins scattering the seed on the ground. A small flock of pigeons immediately gathers around him, pecking at the seed with quiet precision. The man looks over at you, his eyes kind but distant, as though he has lived many lives in this city. "It's always the little things," he says, his voice low but clear. "The birds, the breeze, the warmth of the sun, we forget sometimes, don't we?" You nod, not sure what to say, but feeling the weight of his words. It's true. We often forget to appreciate the small things, the moments that don't scream for attention but offer comfort in their quiet simplicity. The way the world continues to turn, even when we aren't looking. The man feeds the pigeons for a while, and the two of you sit in companionable silence, watching the birds flutter around you. The sound of their wings, the soft rustling of their feathers, is oddly soothing. It's another one of those small, unnoticed moments that remind you of the beauty in life's simplicity. There's no need for grand gestures, no need for loud declarations or dramatic changes. It's in these quiet, unremarkable moments that the world speaks to you. And after a time, the man finishes his task and stands, his movements slow but purposeful. He looks at you once more, his eyes sharp despite the years etched into his face. "Take care, my friend," he says, his voice carrying the weight of experience. "The world has a way of surprising you if you let it." You watch as he walks away, his footsteps steady, his bag of seed now empty. He doesn't look back, but his words linger in the air, settling over you like the warmth of the sun. The world has a way of surprising you if you let it. You smile softly to yourself, not because you have the answers, but because you understand what he means. It's the small surprises, the quiet changes that make life what it is. And it's in these moments, these encounters, that you realize the world is full of possibilities. The pigeons finish the seed, and as they take flight, you stand, feeling a quiet sense of peace wash over you. You continue your walk through the park, the path before you no longer a mystery but an invitation. You're no longer rushing, no longer searching. You're simply walking, one step at a time, feeling the pulse of the city beneath your feet. The city continues to hum quietly as the days pass. The fog of confusion, once so dense and suffocating, has long since lifted. You walk through the streets now with a sense of ease, no longer feeling the weight of uncertainty pressing down on you. The journey ahead is still unknown, but it no longer feels daunting. It feels like a road you're meant to travel, and for the first time you're walking it without hesitation. You've come to appreciate the rhythm of the city, its quiet energy, the way it moves through time, ebbing and flowing with the lives of those who inhabit it. The morning sunlight filters through the streets, casting soft golden hues on the buildings, and the world feels alive with potential. You pass familiar faces, shopkeepers unlocking their doors, children playing in the streets, an old man feeding birds by the fountain, and you realize that you are part of this rhythm. You, too, are a thread in the fabric of this city, woven into the lives of others without even realizing it. One evening, you find yourself standing at the edge of a small square, looking at the building that has always stood there, unchanged, a constant in the ever-shifting landscape of the city. The square is quiet now, the sun setting behind the buildings, casting long shadows that stretch across the cobblestones. There's a soft light in the sky, a mixture of orange and pink, and you stand there, taking it all in, the stillness, the beauty, the quiet promise of what lies ahead. The shop across the square catches your eye. It's a small antique store, the window filled with oddities, old clocks, faded paintings, brass lanterns, and a collection of trinkets that seem to have been forgotten by time. You've passed by this shop 100 times before, but today something about it calls to you. Maybe it's the way the light reflects off the glass, or the way the wind stirs the curtains inside, but you feel a quiet pull toward it. You step inside, the doorbell chiming softly as you push it open. The air inside is cool and smells faintly of dust and aged wood. The shelves are lined with objects from a different time, things that have lived their own lives, that have stories to tell. You wander through the aisles, your fingers brushing lightly against the objects. There's something comforting about the stillness in here, as if time has slowed down, waiting for you to notice it. In the back of the shop, you spot an old mirror. It's small, framed in brass, and its surface is slightly tarnished, giving it a vintage feel. The reflection is not perfect, but that only seems to add to its charm. You step closer, drawn to it. The surface of the mirror flickers slightly as you gaze into it, and for a moment you think you see a flash of something, an image, a memory, something that's not quite right. But then just as quickly the image fades and it's only you looking back at yourself. You pause for a moment, studying your reflection. It's the same face you've seen 1,000 times, but today something about it feels different. There's a quiet peace in your eyes, a calm that wasn't there before. You've walked this far, through all the twists and turns, through the uncertainty, the confusion, and the fear. And now, standing here in front of this old mirror, you realize that you've found something. A sense of self that wasn't there before. You are here. You are present. The reflection before you is not just the past or the future. It's who you are right now, and for the first time you can accept that fully. You've made it through the fog, through the uncertainty, and now you're standing in front of yourself, a quiet realization settling in your chest. You turn away from the mirror, feeling lighter somehow, and make your way to the counter. The shopkeeper, a kind woman with silver hair and a gentle smile, greets you as you approach. "Found something that caught your eye?" she asks. You smile softly and nod. "Just browsing," you reply. But inside, you know that this moment, this simple, quiet pause has been exactly what you needed. The journey, however long it may be, is no longer something to fear. It is simply a path to be walked, one step at a time. You leave the shop, stepping back into the evening air, and continue your walk through the city. The sun is setting, casting its warm light across the streets, and the world feels alive with possibility. You don't know what comes next, but you no longer need to. For the first time, the journey itself is enough. And with that thought, you smile. You are walking the path step by step, and that's all that matters now. As the days continue to pass in their quiet rhythm, the ebb and flow of life around you becoming a part of your own daily pulse. The fog that once clouded your mind, the uncertainty that gripped your heart, has dissipated entirely. It's as if the city itself has become a living thing, something that pulses with a quiet energy, moving with you, carrying you along as you continue on this journey. As the days stretch into weeks, you find yourself walking the streets with a new kind of awareness. The city, once overwhelming in its complexity, now feels like an old friend, one whose rhythms you have come to understand. You no longer rush, no longer worry about what's ahead. There is only now, the present, the step you take and the one after it, each one as important as the last, each one contributing to the path that unfolds beneath you. You walk with no particular destination in mind, but you find that you're no longer walking in circles. You're moving not aimlessly but with purpose that doesn't have to be grand or profound. You're moving simply because you can, because the world is still full of possibilities and you're ready to embrace them all, no matter how small they may seem. One evening, as you walk through a quieter part of the city, you pass a small park. This one is different from the others you've wandered through. It's a bit more hidden, tucked between two old brick buildings, as if the city itself has decided to keep it a secret. The gate is partially open and the path leading into the park is narrow, overgrown with ivy and wildflowers. You pause for a moment, feeling an inexplicable pull toward it. Without a second thought, you step inside. The air in the park is different, cooler, tinged with the scent of damp earth and the faint fragrance of flowers. The trees here are older, their trunks gnarled and thick with age. The sound of rustling leaves is soft and soothing, and there's a quiet hush in the air, as if this place is meant for quiet reflection, not for noise. The world outside seems to fall away the deeper you go into the park. The city, once so vast and overwhelming, now feels like a distant memory. Something that exists on the other side of this peaceful sanctuary. You find a bench near a small pond, the surface of the water still and calm, like a mirror reflecting the soft light of the moon. You sit, the cool wood of the bench grounding you, and you let the stillness of the park settle over you. For a long while you sit there, watching the ripples of the pond shift ever so slightly, disturbed only by the occasional movement of a fish or the fall of a single leaf. The silence here is different from the quiet of the city. It's more intimate, more profound. It's as if the world itself has slowed down in this small corner of the city, allowing you to take a breath and just be. There's no need to hurry. There's no need to search for anything. For the first time, you realize that you've found a kind of peace you didn't even know you were looking for. As the night deepens, the park becomes more still, more enclosed in its own quiet world. The moon casts a soft, silvery light across the pond, and the stars twinkle faintly above, hidden behind the occasional cloud. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the cool air fill your lungs, the sound of the night wrapping itself around you like a blanket. In this moment, nothing else matters. The past, the future, all of it fades into the background. There is only this peaceful stillness, this moment of connection with the world around you. You don't know how long you sit there, but it doesn't matter. Time has no place in this space. It is simply you, the park, and the soft sounds of nature moving around you. Eventually you stand, stretching your legs, feeling the weight of the day dissolve in the stillness of the park. The city outside is still there, but it no longer feels so pressing. The hustle, the noise, it all seems so distant now, like a dream you've woken from. You step back onto the path, the gate closing gently behind you, and as you walk back into the familiar streets, you realize that you've left something behind. Not a piece of yourself, but a weight, something heavy that once pressed down on you, something that has finally been released. The city feels different now. It still hums with the same quiet energy, but there's a lightness to it, a sense of openness that wasn't there before. The streets are the same, the buildings as familiar as ever, but you no longer feel like you're walking through a maze. You're walking through a story that is unfolding with each step you take. You walk past the same shops, but now each one feels like part of a larger, more meaningful whole. You no longer feel like an outsider looking in. You feel like a participant, like you are a part of this city woven into its rhythm. The small details that you once overlooked now stand out. Every flower in a window box, every face in the crowd, every passerby who crosses your path. They are all part of the same world, and you are part of it too. The evening air is still cool, but it's comfortable now, not cold. The sky is deepening into twilight, the stars beginning to blink into existence one by one. The city, with all its hustle and bustle, seems to pause for just a moment, as if it too is breathing in the calm of the night. You slow your pace, feeling the quietude of the world around you, and you begin to notice things you hadn't before. A small group of musicians has set up on a street corner. The sound of a violin and a guitar fills the air, the music light and playful, lifting your spirits without you even realizing it. You stop for a moment to listen, the melody wrapping itself around you like a familiar tune. The musicians play with the kind of effortless joy that makes you smile. The sound fills the street, and those who have been moving so quickly, so intent on their own journeys, slow down too. Now they stop for a moment to listen, to take in the music, to let it fill the spaces between their thoughts. You stand there for a while, watching the musicians, feeling the music vibrate in your chest. It's the simplest of things, an impromptu concert on a street corner, but in this moment it feels like the entire city has paused, collectively taking in the beauty of the music, the beauty of life itself. For the first time you realize that this is what life is, these small, fleeting moments of connection, of shared experience that happen when we least expect them. The music fades as the musicians finish their set, and the crowd begins to disperse, but the sense of shared humanity remains. People are walking again, but the pace has slowed, the atmosphere gentler. It's as if the music has left a quiet imprint on the city, a reminder that it's okay to pause, to breathe, to simply be. You continue walking, feeling lighter with each step. The city is still vast, still full of possibilities, but it no longer feels like a labyrinth. It feels like a home. You're no longer searching for meaning, for answers, for the next step. You're simply walking, and that is enough. You find yourself back on the familiar streets near your apartment. The door, when you reach it, feels welcoming, almost as if it's been waiting for you. You unlock it, step inside, and the quiet hum of the city outside fades into the background. The room is simple, but it feels like your space, your place. You set down the loaf of bread and the pastry you picked up earlier, and for the first time you realize that you don't need anything more than this. This moment, this peace, this quiet understanding that the journey, with all its twists and turns, has led you here to this place. And here, in the stillness of your room, you finally feel at home. The world outside continues to hum, but for tonight, at least, you're exactly where you need to be. And that, in itself, is enough. As the night deepens, you find yourself standing in front of the window of your apartment, gazing out at the city below. The streetlights cast their soft glow on the pavement, and the gentle rustle of leaves in the trees fills the air with an almost imperceptible hum. The city is still awake, yet it feels quieter, more serene now, as if the noise of the day has finally settled into the calm of the night. You reflect on the days that have passed, on the journey you've walked, the paths you've taken, the places you've found peace. The uncertainty that once clouded your mind is gone, replaced by something simpler, something clearer. You've come to realize that life isn't about finding the perfect answer, the ideal path, or the destination that promises fulfillment. It's about the moments, the small, fleeting experiences that make up the rhythm of life. The soft glow of the streetlights outside illuminates the familiar landscape of your neighborhood. It's the same city, the same streets, but tonight it feels different. You feel connected to it in a way you never have before, as though you've finally found your place within it. The world around you doesn't feel so large, so overwhelming. Instead, it feels full of possibility, of quiet opportunities waiting to be discovered. You step away from the window, feeling a soft sense of contentment settle over you. There's no rush, no pressure to find what's next. For the first time, you realize that you've stopped searching. The search for meaning, for purpose, for some grand revelation has been replaced with a simple acceptance of the present. And in this acceptance there is peace. There is freedom. You walk to the small table in the corner of the room, the one where you've placed the loaf of bread and the pastry. The simple meal feels symbolic of where you are in life, no longer searching for grand answers or elusive truths, but embracing the quiet moments, the small pleasures. You sit down, take a bite of the bread, and savor the warmth, the comfort it brings. It's not a meal meant to fill some grand need, it's just food, simple and honest, and that's enough. As you eat, your thoughts drift back to the city, to the people you've encountered, to the small moments of connection that have stayed with you. You think about the old man in the park, the woman behind the counter at the bakery, the musicians playing on the street corner. Each of them, in their own way, has contributed to your understanding of the world, not through words, but through presence, through the simple act of being. And in this understanding, you realize something profound. It's not just about what you find along the way, it's about how you choose to experience it. Life doesn't need to be a race, a constant search for meaning or purpose. It's about living in the moments you are given, savoring the quiet joy in the simple things, and being present with the world around you. The night outside is peaceful, the city humming quietly as it settles into its own rhythm. You finish your meal slowly, taking your time, enjoying the silence. For the first time, you feel no need to rush, no need to find the next step or the next destination. The world will continue to unfold as it will, and you will move with it, step by step, at your own pace. As the night stretches on, you find yourself standing at the window once more, the cool night air drifting through the cracks of the open window, carrying with it the faint sound of life outside. The city feels alive with possibility, but not in the way it once did. It no longer feels like a maze, a place to get lost in. It feels like a home, one that has embraced you in its quiet, unspoken way. And you, in turn, have learned to embrace it. You turn from the window, walking through your apartment with a sense of ease, no longer weighed down by the past, no longer searching for the future. You move with the flow of life, not against it. Each step is purposeful, yet unhurried. Each moment, no longer filled with the weight of uncertainty, is a simple joy. You take a deep breath, the air in the room now familiar, comforting. It smells faintly of the bread you've just eaten, of the simple, everyday things that have become so meaningful. There's a kind of poetry in the mundane, you realize. The world does not need to be filled with dramatic events to be beautiful. The beauty lies in the quiet moments, in the small, unnoticed gestures that make up the fabric of life. You sit down on the couch, your thoughts drifting as you watch the soft flicker of the lamp in the corner. The quiet of the room is soothing, and for a moment you let yourself simply exist in it. No need to rush. No need to search. Just this moment, just this peace. As outside, the city continues to hum. The soft murmur of the world outside feels like the sound of a distant wave, rolling in and out, moving with a rhythm that never stops. The people who walk the streets, the ones you pass by every day, are part of that rhythm just as you are. And it strikes you again how connected we all are. How we're all part of this vast, unspoken dance, whether we realize it or not. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the stillness of the room, the quiet pulse of life outside, and you let it all settle into you. You are part of this world. You are part of this rhythm. And for the first time, you understand what that means. It doesn't mean finding some grand purpose or answer to the questions that have plagued you. It means simply being present, letting the world move around you and embracing each small moment as it comes. The world outside is still, but within you something has shifted. The journey, as it turns out, isn't about reaching some distant destination. It's about finding peace with where you are, with who you are, and with the small steps that take you forward. And so you sit in the quiet of your apartment, the city humming softly beyond the walls, and you realize that the path you've been walking is not just a journey through the world, it's a journey within yourself. And in that journey, you've discovered something beautiful. The freedom to simply be. To walk through life without the need to rush or worry, to accept the small moments as they come, and to find peace in the quiet spaces between the noise. You stand up, stretching your legs, and walk back to the window. The city is still there, vast and alive, but tonight it doesn't feel overwhelming. It feels like a place you belong to, a place where you can find peace, where you can live your life at your own pace. And as you look out at the lights of the city, you realize that you are finally content. The journey has brought you here, and here you are at home. As the night continues, and you too continue with it, walking through life step by step in perfect rhythm with the world around you. The soft hum of the city outside continues to fill the air as you stand by the window, gazing at the quiet streets below. The glow of the streetlights casts long shadows on the pavement, and the soft breeze rustles the leaves in the trees. You feel at home here, no longer a stranger, no longer searching. The city, once a place full of noise and confusion, has transformed into a sanctuary. It feels like it's always been here, waiting for you to find it. And now that you've found your place, the city seems to have embraced you in return. The night sky is dotted with stars, though faint, they're visible through the gaps between the buildings. You breathe in deeply, the cool air filling your lungs. The quiet of the night feels like an old friend, one that has been with you all along but that you only just started to notice. In the stillness of the city, you realize how much you've changed, how much you've grown, and how much you've learned. For so long you were running from something, whether it was the weight of the past, the uncertainty of the future, or something inside you that you could never quite name. But now, standing here watching the city breathe around you, you realize that the search was never the point. The journey, the path you've walked, has been about finding peace within yourself. It's about embracing the moments, no matter how small, and recognizing that everything you've experienced, every decision, every turn, every misstep has led you here. To this place, to this moment. You step back from the window and take a seat by the table. The room is quiet, except for the faint hum of the refrigerator and the soft rustle of the curtains as the wind moves through the open window. The world outside is still, but inside everything feels alive. The silence is comforting, not empty. You can hear your own thoughts, clear and steady, as if they've found their own rhythm now, one that aligns with the rhythm of the world around you. The bread you bought earlier rests on the table, its warm aroma filling the space. It's a simple meal, but it feels like more. It feels like nourishment for your body, yes, but also for your soul. The simplicity of it, the quiet comfort, is exactly what you need. You break off a piece of the bread and take a bite, savoring the softness of it, the way it melts in your mouth. You take your time, not rushing, just being in the moment. And for the first time, you realize that you've learned the art of presence. Of being fully here in the now without needing anything else. You finish the bread slowly, the crumbs falling onto the table, and you feel a quiet contentment settle over you. The world outside continues, but you've found something within yourself that no longer needs to chase or race. You are simply here, and that's enough. The night is deepening and the city is quieter now, the hum of life receding into the background. You stand and walk to the small bookshelf in the corner of the room, running your fingers over the spines of the books there. They're familiar, comforting, a small library that has been with you through many stages of your life. You pick up a book at random, its cover soft from years of use. It's a novel you've read before, but tonight it feels new, like it holds secrets you haven't uncovered yet. You sit back down at the table, open the book, and begin to read. The words flow over you, but they don't feel like an escape this time. They feel like a gentle companion, something that amplifies the peace you've found. The world outside is still, but in the pages of the book there's another world, a world of stories, of people, of experiences that stretch far beyond your own. And yet they still feel connected to you. You are part of the story, just as the characters in the book are part of their own. You read for a while, lost in the narrative, until the book falls softly from your hands. The soft rustle of pages in the quiet room is the last sound you hear before sleep starts to gently pull you into its embrace. The weight of the day is gone, and for the first time in what feels like a long while, you welcome sleep not as an escape but as a rest, a quiet pause, a moment of peace. You stretch out on the couch, the city humming outside your window, its rhythm steady and sure. You close your eyes, the quiet of the room wrapping around you like a blanket, and you allow yourself to drift. The next morning arrives with a soft light, casting its glow on the city and the quiet streets below. The city has changed again, subtly, as if it has continued its journey without you, while you've stayed still, enjoying the comfort of the night's quiet peace. The sun rises slowly, its light filtering through the curtains and into the room, gently waking you from your sleep. You sit up, stretching your limbs, feeling the soft ache of rest in your body. There's a new sense of calm within you, as if you've had a deep conversation with the world while you slept, and it has left you with a quiet understanding. You stand and move toward the window, pulling the curtains back to reveal the day. The streets are still quiet, the first stirrings of life just beginning as people start to wake and move about their morning routines. The world, as it always does, is shifting into motion once more. But today it feels different. You feel different. You are no longer rushing to catch up or searching for something you cannot find. You are simply living, moment by moment, step by step, embracing the flow of life around you. You take a deep breath, letting the morning air fill your lungs. The city is alive, yes, but it no longer feels like a chaotic force you need to navigate. It feels like a companion, one that you are walking alongside, no longer fighting against. You've found your rhythm here in this place at this moment. And for the first time, you realize that the journey you've been on, this path of uncertainty, of searching, of growth, has led you exactly where you needed to be. The simple act of standing here, watching the city wake up, is a moment of clarity. You don't need to chase the next step, the next chapter. You're already part of it. The past is no longer something that drags you down. The future isn't a looming shadow that you must run toward. The present, this quiet, simple moment, is everything you need. As the morning sun climbs higher, you step back from the window, your heart light, your mind at peace. The city outside continues, its pulse steady and sure. And you too continue on your journey, one step at a time. The path ahead is still unknown, but you know now that it doesn't matter. You are ready for it, whatever it may bring. The rhythm of life is enough. You are enough. And with that thought, you step forward into the day, the world wide open in front of you. And for the first time, it feels like the journey is just beginning. The city continues to awaken around you, its slow pulse filling the air as you step outside. The morning light is soft and golden, spilling over the buildings and turning the streets into a tapestry of shadows and light. The world feels full of possibility, but in a quiet, grounded way. You move through it now with a steady calm, each step feeling purposeful without the pressure to be somewhere, to do something. For once, you are simply here, alive and present, breathing in the cool morning air. You wander down the street, the familiar sights of your neighborhood now feeling like small, intricate details that have become part of your daily life. The flower boxes outside there blooms a riot of color, the sound of distant conversations spilling from an open window, the soft click of heels on the cobblestone as a woman passes by, lost in her thoughts. These moments, so easily overlooked before, now stand out as small miracles. The world is alive, not just in grand gestures, but in these quiet, unnoticed seconds that make up the pulse of existence. As you walk, you find yourself crossing a bridge that you've walked over countless times. The river below is calm, its surface a perfect reflection of the sky above. You pause for a moment to watch it, feeling an inexplicable connection to the water, to the way it flows effortlessly, always moving forward, never stagnant. You've always been drawn to the river, its quiet persistence a reminder of the way life moves, carrying you with it whether you're ready or not. The wind stirs gently, ruffling your hair, and for a moment you let yourself close your eyes, simply standing there, feeling the breeze against your skin. There's a peace in this, in simply being here. No rush, no destination. Just the gentle hum of the world moving forward and you moving with it one step at a time. As after a few moments, you continue your walk, letting the river stay behind you. You don't know where you're going, but it doesn't matter. The journey is no longer something to fear, no longer something you need to escape. It's simply part of life, part of the ebb and flow of the world around you. The weight of the past, the uncertainty of the future, these things have lost their grip on you. You've learned that peace is not something you find by chasing it. It's something that comes when you stop looking for it, when you simply allow yourself to be. The street you walk down is quieter now, fewer people are out, and the world has settled into the soft rhythms of the day. You pass by the same bakery, the one you've come to love, the warm smell of bread drifting out into the street as you walk by. The baker is there, his apron dusted with flour, his face set in the familiar smile that greets everyone who walks by. "A good morning," he calls, his voice cheerful. You wave back, your own smile forming in response. There's something comforting in these small exchanges, in the recognition that you are part of a larger community. It's a reminder that the journey is not just about the destination, it's about the people you meet along the way, the connections you make, even if they're brief. They add depth to the journey, filling the quiet moments with warmth and meaning. You pause in front of a small park, its green expanse a peaceful retreat from the city around it. The park has always been a quiet sanctuary, a place where you can sit and reflect, where time seems to slow down just enough for you to catch your breath. You find a bench near the fountain and sit down, the cool stone beneath you grounding you in the present. The sound of the water trickling from the fountain is soothing, a gentle background to the soft murmur of life around you. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face and listen to the soft rustling of leaves in the trees. There's a deep peace in the stillness of this moment, a feeling of connection to the world that has taken root inside of you. You are not just a traveler moving through life. You are part of it. And that realization, that acceptance, fills you with a quiet joy. The park begins to fill with people, a few joggers passing by, a couple of parents pushing strollers, a few people walking their dogs. It's the rhythm of daily life, the quiet movements of people going about their day, and you are simply here, part of it. No longer a spectator, no longer an outsider. You are here with them in this shared space. As you sit in the park, your thoughts drift naturally to the future. Not with anxiety or fear, but with curiosity, with a sense of wonder. You no longer feel the need to control every aspect of your life to force it into a shape you think it should take. Instead, you've learned to trust in the flow of things. You've learned that it's okay to not have all the answers, to not know what comes next. The future will unfold as it should, and all you need to do is show up, one step at a time, ready to embrace whatever comes. There's a quiet beauty in surrendering to the journey, in accepting that you don't have to figure it all out at once. The world is vast, but you are part of it, and in that knowing there is peace. You are not alone. You are walking this path with others, even if they don't always see it. The people you pass, the moments you share, they are all threads in the same tapestry, woven together in a way that is both complex and simple. The sun is now higher in the sky, its warmth spreading across the park, and you stand, stretching your arms above your head. You feel the strength in your body, the way your muscles stretch and wake up with you. There's a lightness to your step, a quiet energy that makes the world feel like it's there to be explored, not conquered. The park, the city, the world, all of it is waiting for you, and for the first time you don't feel the need to rush toward it. You feel ready to simply move through it, to be a part of it, without the pressure to become something more than you are. As you walk away from the park, the city begins to hum with a new energy. People are going about their lives, their faces lit with the gentle light of the afternoon. You move with them, part of the flow, and you notice how much more you are able to see now. The subtle things, the way the sunlight filters through the trees, the laughter of children playing in the streets, the quiet exchange of glances between strangers. These moments, once overlooked, now stand out as the true beauty of life. You walk through the familiar streets, no longer feeling the weight of what's behind you or the uncertainty of what's ahead. The city is full of life, full of possibilities, but for the first time you don't need to chase them. You are simply here, walking, breathing, being. With every step, you feel more grounded in the present, more connected to the world around you. The path ahead is still unknown, but that no longer matters. The journey is unfolding, not in some grand moment of revelation, but in the quiet, everyday steps you take along the way. The world continues to hum, and so do you. The rhythm of life is yours now, and you walk it with ease, knowing that every step is enough. Every breath is enough. And that in itself is a quiet, beautiful gift. The rhythm of the world continues, its pulse steady and unyielding, like the steady beat of a drum in the distance, reminding you that you are part of something larger, something constant. The city, with its ever-moving current of life, is a world that you no longer need to race against. You have learned in your quiet moments to flow with it, to trust its pace, knowing that your own steps are as important as anyone else's. The days now pass slowly, yet with a quiet sense of urgency, not for a destination but for the experience itself. The morning light continues to paint the city in soft hues of gold, and you begin each day with the same sense of wonder, the same quiet curiosity. The world outside your window is a never-ending story, unfolding in ways you could never predict. And that's okay. You no longer seek to control it, but to live within it. One morning, as you sip your coffee and look out over the city, you find yourself reflecting on how far you've come. Not just in terms of the physical distance you've traveled, but in the way you have come to understand the world around you. The city, which once seemed like a vast, intimidating labyrinth, now feels like a familiar song, its streets and alleys no longer a source of confusion but of connection. You've found the places where you belong, and in doing so, you've created spaces within yourself where peace and acceptance can grow. Your steps take you through the city now with a sense of calm assurance. The streets are no longer just places you pass through, but part of the larger tapestry of your life. You stop more often now, letting yourself be in the moment. There's no need to rush to the next thing, to the next goal. The world will unfold in its own time, and you will be there to witness it. You find yourself walking past the same bakery, the one with the familiar scent of fresh bread always wafting out into the street. You pause for a moment, watching the bakers work through the window, their hands moving expertly through the dough. The simplicity of their work, the quiet rhythm of their movements, feels soothing in a way you can't explain. It's in these small acts of baking, of walking, of living, that you find the quiet beauty of existence. It's inside the bakery, the warm glow of the oven casts a soft light on the walls, and you hear the soft murmur of conversation from the customers seated at the small tables. You find yourself walking in, your hands instinctively reaching for the familiar bread that has become a comfort in your life. The woman behind the counter smiles at you, and you smile back, the small exchange feeling like a gesture of warmth in a world that has so often felt uncertain. "A good morning," she says, her voice light and welcoming. "The usual today." You nod, your smile deepening. "Yes, please, and maybe one of those sweet rolls, the ones with the icing." She chuckles, handing you a warm loaf and a pastry, her eyes kind, as if she understands something about you that no one else does. "You've been coming here a lot lately," she says, "and it's good to see you. It's nice having regulars." "Thank you," you say, taking the bread and the roll, feeling a quiet gratitude for this small moment, for the simplicity of it. "It's nice to come back." You leave the bakery with the familiar warmth of the bread in your hands, the soft fragrance filling the air around you. As you walk down the street, the world seems to hum along with you, the rhythm of life steady and comforting. You pass familiar faces, nodding in quiet acknowledgement, feeling the sense of belonging grow stronger with every passing step. The park beckons you next, a familiar retreat where you have often paused to sit and reflect. The trees sway gently in the breeze, their leaves rustling softly in the wind, and the air is filled with the faint scent of earth and grass. You take a seat by the fountain, the sound of the water spilling from the stone basin a calming presence, like a quiet companion you've come to depend on. As you sit, you let your thoughts wander, allowing yourself to be present in this space. The world moves around you, children run by, laughing, their voices rising in the air like small bursts of joy. A couple walks hand in hand, their conversations soft and intimate. You watch them, your heart warmed by the simplicity of their connection, the quiet, effortless way they walk through the world together. In the stillness of the park, you realize how much you've changed. The journey you've walked, the doubts, the struggles, the moments of fear and uncertainty has shaped you, yes, but it has also taught you the art of presence, of being here in this moment without needing to be anywhere else. The peace you've found, not just in the world around you but within yourself, has made all the difference. The soft rustling of leaves is interrupted by the distant sound of a piano, the notes flowing through the air as they've done so many times before. The melody, familiar and soothing, drifts toward you and you smile softly, remembering the first time you heard it. The way it filled the air and made everything feel just a little bit softer. Now it feels like part of the rhythm of the city, a quiet soundtrack to the life you are living. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the music wash over you, letting the world slip away. The melody is gentle, but it carries with it a sense of depth, as if it's speaking to something inside you that words cannot express. You've learned to listen to the quiet, to find meaning in the moments that others might overlook. And in this music, you find another layer to your journey, another thread weaving through your story. When you open your eyes again, the park is still around you, the fountain still spilling water, the people still moving through their own lives. But you are different. You are no longer searching for answers or rushing through life. You are simply living it. The world, with all its complexity and uncertainty, is a beautiful place, and you are ready to continue walking through it, step by step, with no need to hurry. You rise from the bench, feeling lighter than you have in years, and begin to walk through the park once more. The city awaits you, and you know that whatever comes next, you are ready for it. The journey isn't over, but it doesn't need to be. The path you walk, one step at a time, is the journey itself, and that is enough.